Hi everyone, it's Oliver Harper here, and I'm back with Rob Hill, aka the Bad Movie Bible, and stand-up comedian Nick Helm for a commentary on Independence Day. Now, every year, when it is Independence Day, my American followers message me saying, "Hey Oliver, happy Independence Day," and I'm like, You do realise I'm British? You know, I think someone hasn't paid attention in class, you know. But anyway,
it's the worst day in our calendar when we lost the colony. Oh no!
So Nick, are you looking forward to talking about Independence Day?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, I do think it is probably. It's enjoyable rubbish now, I think. But, I mean, it is rubbish. But, I don't know. I haven't seen it in a really long time. I saw it at the cinema when it first came out on a Friday night with my dad in a packed cinema. And I thought it was absolutely incredible. And then it was one of those films, a bit like Men in Black or American Pie or what else was like that. It was that every time you went to a party, someone had that on VHS, and like Independence Day was one of those films where if the teacher wasn't in school, if you were doing like a summer project, then they would let you watch Independence Day. So I think like Jurassic Park was like that as well. It was like. It was like every time he did anything, Independence Day was there. So I went from really loving it to like being quite, I watched it probably 8 or 9, 10 times, like in a very short amount of time. I did like it.
Everyone did.
I haven't seen it in such a long time, but when I was young, it was just like, oh wow. It was just after Bad Boys as well, wasn't it? So it was like, he was on a bit of a run then. And it was just before Men in Black.
Yeah. What a hell of a trilogy in 3 years.
Yeah, incredible.
It's crazy, man. Rob, you saw it at the cinema, right? I presume?
Yeah, no, my take is exactly the same as Nick's, actually. Yeah, I saw it in the cinema, absolutely loved it. I think I saw it a few times in the cinema, actually.
Yeah.
And then kind of and chose to rewatch it quite regularly for a few years. And then, saw it too much probably and haven't seen it for a long time now.
Overdosed on too much Roland Emmerich scripts, sort of, Anyway, folks, we are watching the theatrical cut. So if you'd like to sync this commentary with your copy on Blu-ray, or you can watch it on Disney Plus or Amazon Prime, put the timestamp to 0 and press play now. Now, Nick, you were mentioning about Jurassic Park because as a kid, like Jurassic Park was like the biggest movie of my youth, right? In terms of hype, everyone talking about it.
Yeah.
And Independence Day was the same. It was like just the amount of rumblings before it came out, like this is going to be the biggest film ever, and it turned out to be like the second most successful film ever made when it came out.
What, Jurassic Park?
Yeah, well, Jurassic Park was number 1. This was number 2. This outdid like The Lion King or something like that. But at the time, there was this on TV. We had the X-Files. We had sightings. Obviously, X-Files is made by Fox, and they're now distributing one of the biggest sci-fi movies of the decade, which is also owned by them. So there was this like obsession with UFOs, conspiracy theories of Area 51, and this kind of totally played into all of that. And it gave us a new take of War of the Worlds mixed with Star Wars, really. The big dogfights and stuff.
But it was also a disaster movie as well, wasn't it?
Yes. This kind of rejuvenated that genre.
And that dogfight stuff, that was kind of like in the interim between Star Warses. So we hadn't really seen much stuff like that. When did Lost in Space came out? A couple of years after this as well, isn't it?
2 years. Yeah.
So Lost in Space as well had kind of like dogfights in space, and then that kind of gave you an idea of what we could expect from Star Wars. It was really exciting. One of the things they said about this, because you're right, it was part of all of that UFO kind of boom in the 90s. But one of the things they said about this film before it came out was that, with crop circles and shiny discs in the sky and those kind of like little grey alien guys, they were like going, all of the UFO conspiracy things, they're all going to be tied together in this one film. We're going to try and explain everything. And they don't. They don't. The aliens don't look like the aliens that we saw in Roswell and stuff like that. And so, and the discs, the flying discs don't look like flying saucers that we knew. So they kind of don't do any of that. But it was exciting at the time.
Did you guys see Stargate before this? Were you familiar with that?
Loved Stargate.
Yeah, I'd been thoroughly disappointed by that.
Really?
Different takes there then.
You didn't like Stargate?
No. Mind you, I've never gone back to it either, but it just seemed to be lacking the. I was fucking 17 or something.
Sure.
I wasn't of an age to be appreciating things like that.
I really loved Stargate. I really loved the score for Stargate. I think it did a lot of the heavy lifting, and we grew up really loving James Spader, and it was really cool to see him in like a mainstream movie. And Kurt Russell, I grew up with on Big Trouble in Little China, so it was a bit like, oh, he's doing like a straight role, you know. So, but even Kurt Russell not playing it for fun is kind of still brilliant. So I loved it. I loved Stargate, but on like a Sunday afternoon B-movie matinee kind of level, you know.
Yeah. It's I remember it being kind of like a bit of a 1950s kind of a sci-fi movie, just done on a bigger scale, mixing in all kinds of different aesthetics and so on.
What, Stargate?
Yeah, and I guess that's kind of what this does too.
It
really.
Also had sort of like the Egyptian explorer kind of Indiana Jones stuff with it as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I thought Stargate was great, and I went into this like really excited about this as well. We've already missed like something that we could talk about though. There's that the music at the beginning. What's the music that they used in the beginning? Because it was different in the trailer. The trailer was "It's the End of the World as We Know It," wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it's REM, isn't it? Yeah, I think it was originally. Yeah, no. So it is, in the movie, it's "The End of the World as We Know It," but originally it was something else. It was Jesus, like it's similarly themed, like "We're going to take you over" or something. The theme of the song is occupation or taking over.
Right.
There was they did a big marketing push, didn't they, earlier on with the Super Bowl, and it's like the ID4 logo. So at that time, I was like, "What's ID4?" You know.
That was like one of the first times that they kind of like truncated the title for something, a bit like Fan Four Stick, I suppose. But it's kind of like they truncated it right down, and it's like
they had to, didn't they? Because they had to they couldn't get the rights to use Independence Day, or they were being challenged over the rights to use Independence Day by some other studio that had made a movie of the same title.
Right, okay. And this was being made at about the same time as Mars Attacks, wasn't it? Or was Mars Attacks a reaction to this?
Yeah, I think Mars Attacks was actually delayed a little bit because this was such a massive blockbuster during the summer. I think it was meant to release around the same time.
Because I thought like Mars Attacks was kind of a spoof on this when I saw the trailers. I was like, oh, this is... But obviously it wasn't. But I mean, I think they may have incorporated a couple of bits that would kind of, joke about with Independence Day. But as I mentioned about Stargate, because I enjoyed Stargate in terms of its kind of the concept of it all, and even though it played into the bullshit conspiracy theories that aliens built pyramids, it's complete load of rubbish. But it had middle act problems, and that's kind of the trend we see with Roland Emmerich movies, because of all disaster movies, it's difficult to keep the momentum going. So once you, with all these types of movies, it's the build-up's fantastic and the first big disaster. Then to keep that going is really tough. Independence Day kind of straddles it because you've got an actual enemy, but when you're just dealing with the natural disasters, perhaps something like Daylight, where you're just kind of stuck in, underground, or Dante's Peak, where they kind of just really kind of wait to the third act for it to go boom. It's kind of it's tough to do because you could blow your load too early.
Twister's sort of like that as well. The middle of Twister is kind of like, oh, and now we're just waiting for another storm. And
this has got an additional problem in that, like Nick says, it is a proper disaster movie. So it's a proper little flashback to 1970s disaster movies. So there is no central character, really. It's an ensemble cast, isn't it? So there's no individual thread to follow through this extravaganza of effects and so on. We're jumping in between kind of three different narratives all the time.
You could say, oh, it's a Will Smith movie, but it's not. In terms of screen time, it's probably a Bill Pullman movie.
Yeah.
He probably has the most screen time, followed by Jeff Goldblum.
And Jeff Goldblum is really memorable to me anyway. So you I kind of like, oh yeah, Will Smith was in this.
Oh no!
And yeah, normally he'd be the star.
I always think of it like Will Smith, Jeff Goldblum, Bill Pullman, but you're right. But I think that's because
it's the Star Trek, a lot of Ghostbusters trio, isn't it? Of like three guys. You
know. They're all important. I think all the characters are really great, and I think that this probably suffers a little bit less from that disaster movie thing because then you've got Randy Quaid to jump to. Do you know what I mean? There's always something that you can jump to. I mean, just looking at the beginning of there, you've got like Robert Loggia in it, and I forgot he was in it. And you could, if you'd have told me he was in Mars Attacks, I'd have gone, oh yeah, all right. But that's Rod Steiger basically is playing the same character in Mars Attacks.
Of course, yeah, he does, doesn't he? Yeah.
And then you've also got the dad out of the Wonder Years who's with Robert Loggia in that scene. And then it's this Judd Hirsch, isn't it?
Judd Hirsch, from Taxi. Loved him in Taxi when I was a kid.
He's great. He's great in this.
He takes the sort of the stereotypical Jewish guy up to 11. He's I love it.
Yeah, that's his job in this movie, is to be Captain Hebrew, isn't it? Basically, just Robert Loggia is a great. I'd forgotten he was in it as well. He's a freaking great presence.
I love him.
Because like Bill Pullman kind of made his name in my mind anyway, other than Spaceballs, kind of made his name in Lost Highway. Or that was like his big. And
to me, he was the dad in Casper. That's how I know.
Oh, really?
Well, I think Lost Highway. I think Lost Highway is kind of an anomaly when I think of Bill Pullman because it's kind of legitimate. Whereas I think of Bill Pullman as kind of Spaceballs, Serpent. Was it Serpent Under the Rainbow?
That's a good point. Yeah.
What's the one that you just said, Ollie?
Casper,
of course, and then he was in While You Were Sleeping. He was kind of like this guy.
Exactly, that's what he became. He was like Mr. Light Comedy, romantic comedy type guy.
He kind of reminds me like another version of Treat Williams for some reason. I don't know why. There's sort of guys that sort of they're just similar haircuts. They sort of just pop up in movies. They're very good, but they're never really like the big guy, right? The big A-lister guy. But they're just like consistent. Oh, I love Jeff Goldblum's assistant here. David! He's always, he's like, oh my God, David. He's so good.
And of course, like everyone still remembered Harvey Fierstein from Mrs. Doubtfire. And it was like this perfect time in kind of like movie history in the mid-90s where it was like, oh, wow, we all went to see the same films. And then it was like, and then the same actors popped up and stuff. And it's kind of like, who the fuck, how should any of us really know who Harvey Fierstein is at the age of 14, 15 in the mid-90s?
And he was the voice of Carl in The Simpsons. Hello, Homer. He's like, when he does the...
of course, yeah.
Let's go shopping. He's like...
Never made that connection.
Yeah, right.
But you're right about this being like the time when everybody saw the same thing. Like, everybody I knew went to go and see Independence Day at the cinema. Fucking everybody. It was unimaginable not to do it.
And it was I saw it on the Friday night screening in Watford at the Watford View with my dad, and he took me, and it was absolutely packed, and I remember people cheering and just like really getting on board with it. And it was, and I don't think, maybe Jurassic Park, but I don't think I'd had. Jurassic Park is a different film. You're not, until you get to the end, I suppose. I mean, Jurassic Park's a disaster movie,
But yeah, no, it had that same kind of like swamping effect on the culture. Everyone went to see Jurassic Park and everyone went to go and see this. And I think they were really the only two. They tried to do the same thing with Godzilla, but it just didn't work out.
Well, Godzilla had the brilliant marketing campaign with the teaser and the trailers, which were like...
Amazing.
Yeah, that was awesome, that trailer, that teaser.
It's stamped on a
T-Rex.
A T-Rex skeleton, and then
and then the guy runs up the bridge, it's like... but then you saw Godzilla and it was terrible.
What year was Godzilla?
98. So it gave you... it showed you examples, of Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin's way of writing. And it is the same stereotypical characters just recycled through all these scripts. And you sort of... It's kind of... If it's just isolated to Independence Day in terms of those characters and how they talk and how the humour is injected into the script. But if you just see it just copy and pasted, it just shows you the flaws.
It's what James Gunn is doing now, where it's kind of like, oh yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh, great. And then you go, oh, Suicide Squad. Yeah, okay, right. And then, oh, Superman. You've made Superman into a Guardians of the Galaxy movie. All right. And then I've not seen Supergirl, but the trailer just looked like Guardians of the Galaxy. And you're kind of like, this is all you do. This is, and that's weird because James Gunn didn't come from that. And Roland Emmerich came from Universal Soldier, and Stargate doesn't have the same setup as this,
Yeah, it's like he got stuck in this groove after those movies. Because, like 2012, The Day After Tomorrow, they're exactly the same as this in terms of characters and structure. And
in 10,000 BC he did, which was appalling film. That was really bad. That was, quite... And The Day After Tomorrow was kind of a bit more competent version of his stuff. I kind of like that, even though it's... South Park wonderfully spoofed it, where they're chased by global warming. But he did The Patriot, which is kind of is apparently quite well received and bizarrely scored by John Williams, where David Arnold, who started out with him with Stargate, did this, Godzilla, all really good fucking scores. And something must have fell out or something. But he's sort of kind of never lived up to. He's always kind of chasing what he'd done before, I find. And his last film, Moonfall, was so bad but entertainingly bad.
That's my highest rated of his movies.
That is like one of the best bad movies in recent years.
It really is.
It's so good.
It really is.
He didn't do Geostorm as well, did he?
That was Dean Devlin directed that.
Amazing. Oh, wow. Yeah. Obviously. I mean, it'd be weird if it wasn't connected somehow, yeah.
But who thought they'd have Gerard Butler as a guy who's expert in the weather?
He also did that weird. Roland Emmerich did that weird Shakespeare film, didn't he?
Yes. Was that Stonewall? Anonymous? No,
Anonymous, no. And it was about how Shakespeare didn't write his own plays, and it was kind of like.
Was that a bit like Shakespeare in Love or something?
Yeah, only with an asteroid. And, Shakespeare in Space. I haven't seen that one.
Have you gents seen though Moon 44, which he directed? It's kind of a German production, but it's English-speaking actors, and it basically just rips off Blade Runner and all other things, like a space sci-fi movie, which has Dean Devlin in it as an actor. I think he co-wrote it as well. But yeah, Moon 44 was kind of a big video hit, but that was sort of led him on. I think he was discovered by Carolco, then give him Universal Soldier.
Right.
You should have. You got to watch it, Rob. It's a movie right up your alley.
I've not seen that. Well, I mean, we were talking just before we started recording about how kind of like this is a very cheesy film, and how not everyone sees it as cheesy, but it felt like it was cheesy at the time. And where's Roland Emmerich from?
Germany.
Right. Okay. So. He's kind of a little bit like a more family-friendly Paul Verhoeven, in a way, where he's kind of like this European director who's coming along making these huge American blockbusters about what it is to be an American.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like this outsider's view of it. And so all of the flag waving isn't coming from an American point of view. It's coming from a European who's trying to kind of ape something that he's seen in Top Gun or pastiche it. Do you know what I mean? Because like Paul Verhoeven was just like, fucking hell, these crazy Americans, they like sex and violence. I'll give them sex and violence. And then he just went for it, right? And in going so hard with the sex and violence in the Paul Verhoeven films, he was giving them what they wanted, but he was also satirising them, right? And
exactly, yeah.
And I don't think Roland Emmerich is working on that level remotely, but there is sort of like shades of it where it's kind of like his huge kind of all-American blockbuster, and the flag waving is to like an absolute max, and it's kind of like he's trying to give them what he thinks they want, and they did, and we loved it. But the cheese factor is kind of like, I think, the European kind of like aspect where it's like he doesn't He's not 100% part of that culture, so he's more observing it.
Yes, spot on, Nick, spot on.
It's like what he makes is celebrations of American culture and patriotism as well.
Yeah.
Whereas Verhoeven makes satires of American patriotism and culture and so on. But yeah, it's almost like a love for it as opposed to a suspicion of it.
Yeah.
You ever seen Family Guy's kind of like little spoof of Robert Loggia? He just says his name over and over again. Yeah. Robert Loggia. He just falls asleep.
I think I didn't even. I think I pronounced it Robert Loggia until I saw that.
That's how I learned how to pronounce it as well. As that Family Guy.
I love him so much. You always think of him as kind of like the stern guy, and I guess he is. But like in Big, you know, he sort of melts your heart. And the fact that he's like the nice guy in Psycho 2 is kind of like, oh yeah, right. Have you ever seen Innocent Blood, the John Landis gangster movie?
No, I've never heard of that.
It was called, I think they like nicknamed it A French Vampire in America or something like that. And it was basically, there's this French vampire that comes over, and Anthony LaPaglia and Robert Loggia are in the same film. And that's it's not really great, but Robert Loggia is really great in it, and Don Rickles plays his kind of like accountant guy, and they're like real horrible mafia gangsters that get turned into vampires and take over New York or wherever it is. But that's quite good. But Robert Loggia is brilliant.
Did you guys have the VHS tape of Independence Day where you got the hologram on the front? You turn it and has the White House explode with this sort of thing. It's quite cool.
No, I do remember all of that stuff, and they had like these really cool kind of like I from what I remember, like mini standees that they'd have on like the counter at video shops with kind of like lights that came down. But I didn't, because I loved it so much at the cinema. But by the time it kind of like came onto VHS, I'd seen it so many times by that point that it was never a film that I wanted to own. And you know what? It's like I did love Independence Day and I did love Men in Black, but I had Bad Boys on VHS. I loved Bad Boys, and I liked these two, but they always felt like kind of like kind of copies of a Steven Spielberg, like Jurassic Park or something like that. Like they were never. I liked them in the way that they were part of the culture, and I enjoyed them for what they were, but they were never ones that I wanted on my video shelf.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Do you think that the sort of the sheen, perhaps, of Independence Day was kind of just worn down by Roland's other feature films, disaster movies that essentially copy and pasted the kind of structure of these and seeing the same characters kind of be recycled? Because Godzilla has the same problem. All the characters are just stock characters, you know.
Yeah.
Because we see later on where's these Roland's attempts to put in kind of more humour to sort of, you know, balance the tone, where Will Smith's kind of co-pilot guy, everything he says has to be a joke, and he becomes so irritating. As soon as he turns up, you just want to punch him, you know.
Yeah. No, I think Independence Day did this to itself. I think that Independence Day, first time you see Independence Day, and if you haven't seen it in a while, it's a really fun film. But if you watch it 10 times within 2 months,
that's a bit too much, Nick.
then all of the bits where kind of like they're like staring open-mouthed at something on the horizon is kind of like, it takes ages to get going. Once you've seen it, you know, it takes ages to get going. Same thing with Mars Attacks, right? I find Mars Attacks like a real tough watch. I find it really boring. And then the bits that are great are the bits that make you want to go back and watch it, but they're kind of like they're spread out over the entire film. And this has so many great moments that you remember, and then when you sit down to watch it, you go, oh yeah, that's right, it's 2 hours 25 minutes, and there's a lot of like hanging around in between bits. And
both this and Mars Attacks could easily have lost 20 minutes and they'd have benefited massively from it. But this is also kind of like, this came along at such a particular time, didn't it? And like you say, everyone overwatched it. I think that's a big part of why it's not lasted quite as well as some other movies. It was kind of blown out of proportion a bit by the spectacle and the scale and everything. And I'm not sure anyone really noticed that it isn't actually that brilliant. It's not as good as Jurassic Park or a lot of these equivalent movies. And it just hasn't stood the test of time that well.
It feels like I mean, you know how like Alien is a B movie that's been given the A movie treatment, and this is, but it doesn't feel like a B movie. But this is an A movie. This is a B movie that's been given like, you know, A movie special effects and budget, and but it still feels like a B movie. And whereas I love that about Stargate, I prefer Stargate to this because it's a more contained, kind of shorter, quicker story. Yeah, I mean, it never loses its B movie kind of like origins, really, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but like that's where the cheese factor comes in. I mean, these opening shots set in New York, you could splice them in with Armageddon and kind of like not know which is which.
At the time, though, this was really fucking striking, wasn't it? This imagery was really amazing at the time.
It blew me away.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But then Armageddon came, like, 2 years later? Or maybe the next year, wasn't it? 97 was Armageddon.
It was in 98, I think.
Was it? I thought it was this. I thought it was the same year as The Lost World and Men in Black, because it came with a set of posters where you got Batman and Robin, Armageddon, The Lost World, and Men in Black.
Yeah, Armageddon's 98. Lost World was 97.
I think it's wrong. I think that's wrong, Ollie. But anyway, like 2 years later, Armageddon comes along, and it's like this on kind of like, steroids, which this was whatever it was on steroids before that.
Well, Armageddon is like, you get the big asteroid attack at the beginning, but then there's kind of not much till they go into space, right, from what I remember. But it was, it was the Michael Bay kind of crazy music video visual style to his camera work.
Don't they destroy the Taj Mahal or something in Armageddon? There's that shot.
I thought it was Mars Attacks. They do that.
Well, man, they're all the same, right? There's that. You could do like a mega cut of all of it, right? There's that shot where they're all praying around the world, and it's daylight in every country, and it's kind of like that's not how days work.
Do you also feel like, even though we do have an enemy in this with the aliens, we don't really get to know anything about them, and the only thing we find out is like once they strangle, it gets into Bill Pullman's mind. It strangles Brent Spiner, who then, he dies in this film clearly, but then he comes back in the sequel. I'll explain later. He sees a glimpse of what they do. They're like a hive. They go around, drain the resources, and kill the planet. That is it. But we just see they all look the same. There's no queen. You see a queen in the sequel, but
you don't need to know any of that, do you?
Well, that was kind of the points they'd put out critically at the time, that we didn't really see much about the enemy.
But none of the models for this, like the models for this, are obviously 70s disaster movies and War of the Worlds, and neither of those do we really see or get to know the threats involved. Obviously, in disaster movies, like natural disaster movies, there is no palpable, identifiable character threat. But like in War of the Worlds, as I remember it anyway, you don't see anything of the aliens, really. You don't learn anything about them.
Except for in Steven Spielberg's War of the Worlds, where what you learn is that they look exactly like these guys.
Yes, true. Yeah.
Which
looks exactly like the alien queen.
Steven Spielberg has copied the design off of a Steven Spielberg copy. That's sad, Steve. That's sad. And I suppose part of the marketing for this is like, we're going to explain everything, and then you don't actually learn anything about any of it at all.
It's not really meant to be about the aliens, is it? It's just meant to be about mankind's reaction to them, I suppose.
It's the skin that they've put on this disaster movie. It could be a towering inferno, or it could be a a tunnel that gets flooded by water, or it could be a swarm of bees, but this time it's aliens, It doesn't really matter. It's kind of like a vehicle to put these fun characters together and put them through kind of like their paces, and then you have a bit of kind of like emotional bits where someone dies and you're like, oh no, not the president's wife, so it's kind of like a vehicle just to kind of give you a fun ride, isn't it? So
Yeah.
This is the countdown. Only Jeff Goldblum is figured out as a countdown. When he tells him, "Oh my god."
Checkmate, because I was playing chess earlier. Do you remember? Checkmate. Do you remember the chess? It's come back, baby. We've thought about it. I'm gonna call my lawyer. Forget my lawyer.
Call my mother.
It was so good as well because it's kind of like forget my lawyer, and I'm like, what, a 14-year-old kid like going, oh, lawyers, eh? It's a real joke for people that specifically live in Los Angeles, I think. Do you know what I mean?
Everyone's got a lawyer.
It's like that joke doesn't translate to 98% of the rest of the world, really. But sure, all right.
It would have been fun seeing this cast with people from those 1970s disaster movies, thinking about it. George Kennedy in there somewhere. Michael Caine in the Jeff Goldblum role. That would have been quite something.
Oh, that would be good, man. Yeah.
What's this actress called here who is talking to Jeff Goldblum?
She's got she's very recognisable. I'm like,
she wasn't Wilma, was she? That was Elizabeth Perkins. Was it? She looks like the woman that played Wilma, but she's not the woman that played Wilma.
A lot of people from the mid-90s look like her in movies.
She's in 3 Men and a Baby. She's in Terminal Velocity.
Oh, I watched that the other day. Don't recognise her.
The Devil's Own, a political thriller with Harrison Ford, which I need to see. I've been going through a Harrison Ford thriller season, I have. Where so either his wife's been kidnapped or she's been killed. That's definitely the premise for a Harrison Ford film. Something else she's been in. Nothing else.
None of those are the films that I know her from.
Pretty in Pink. Here we go.
No.
Oh. I don't think it's going to be that either.
This is unhelpful, Nick.
Because she is if she is in Terminal Velocity, she's not that's Kirsty. Who's the main woman in Terminal Velocity? It's not Kirsty Swanson, is it?
I'm trying to remember.
She's
now.
in The Chase with Charlie Sheen.
Natasha Kinski? Is that her name?
Yeah, Natasha.
Oh, no, it's not Terminal Velocity I'm thinking of. It's something else.
I don't know.
Terminal Invasion I watched the other day.
The
Velocity.
knockoff one of that, is it? Terminal Invasion.
It's funny that Brent Spiner's in this as well because he was also in Phenomenon with John Travolta, and he was having like a non-data, I'm not playing data in movies phase.
But he's really good in this. And he is the best thing about the sequel.
He's good. Like, he is good. He's good in everything except Master of Disguise. And you get the impression that he's a really fun guy, and he's playing. He's got famous for playing an android, so he's doing a specific thing. But he's not like. I think even when you see Leonard Nimoy and other stuff, you're kind of like going, "Why aren't you Spock?" But Brent Spiner or Spiner, he kind of gets away. He kind of gets away with playing other characters and other things without getting bogged down in.
I accidentally called him Brent Spinner in my retrospective, and everyone's like, "Arr, arr." I was like, I'm sorry.
Well, fuck them. Who cares that much unless you're Brent Spinner? Yeah, but like, because he's got grey hair in real life as well, it's kind of like you do actually just disassociate that character that he plays in Star Trek with who he actually is. So it's never that jarring when you see him in stuff. But like that's what I mean. Like, you saw Harvey Fierstein in like a couple of things, and then you see Brent Spiner in a couple of things, and it's like
he's just Brent Spinner now, isn't
it was just this. It was this tapestry of like going to the cinema and seeing the same people pop up in all of these films, and it was really cool. And you kind of get the same 5 actors pop up in absolutely everything now, and back then I don't know.
Yeah, and they're most of them are called Chris, which doesn't help with my confusion.
And she's Mary McCormack.
Well, she's a Dancer with Wolves, isn't she?
Dancer with Wolves. Yeah, she's
Mary
amazing.
McDonald.
She's Mary McDonald. She's amazing. Mary McCormack. I know Mary McCormack. Mary McDonald. She's amazing in Dancer with Wolves. And she's kind
she was
of
the
like,
president in Battlestar Galactica or something, wasn't she? Was it the president? Am I imagining that?
she's kind of like not given enough to do in this film.
Well, no. Then she's just only survivor of the helicopter crash and has to.
All of the women in this are strippers or wives.
But Jeff does bring over some of his kind of, characteristics from Jurassic Park in this.
Well, he's got a line,
We're
isn't
on
he?
first name terms, are we, Jeff?
Yeah, Mr. Goldblum. But he does repeat one line from Jurassic Park in this.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is kind of like, why?
Must go faster.
Why?
And he saves the world with an Apple Mac. And at the time, I was like, yeah, fuck you, Windows, and your crappy operating system.
Apparently, there's a cut scene where they explain how he can link his.
Yes, that's
technology
the special edition cut, which they put out on Laserdisc, and you can get it on Blu-ray now, so on 4K. But it's too long. It's 10 minutes we don't need.
Oh, poor old Randy Quaid. He's off to be star-whacked, isn't he, by the police?
Is he? Do you think Randy Quaid kind of just stayed in character after making this film? Because he's he's gone a bit loopy over the years,
It's a bit of a spin on his his vacation character, isn't he?
Yeah. I love him in Christmas Vacation.
But it's weird, isn't it? Because, Bill Pullman is completely interchangeable in my head with Dennis Quaid. And Dennis Quaid obviously plays the president in The Day After Tomorrow, right?
Yeah. No. He doesn't. No, he doesn't play a president. He's a scientist.
He's a scientist. He's a dad scientist. Yes.
Yes, dad. Yeah.
All right. Okay. But then it's obviously they've gone like, oh, we love the Quaids. Let's get his brother in something. But you could have had like a Dennis Quaid, Randy Quaid kind of team up movie with Independence Day.
They should have brought. They should have had Dennis Quaid in Independence Day too. To sort of have something.
Is Randy Quaid dies in this, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. I'm back.
Yeah, like finishing off the wonderful joke that they've set up about him being anally probed.
Of course, yeah.
Did you see Masters of the Universe?
I did, yes.
So many fisting jokes in Masters of the Universe, and it's kind of like continuing a long tradition of putting anal fucking jokes into kids' movies. Harry Connick Jr.
Yes,
Harry Connick Jr. And then he pops up in Copycat. And is there a When Harry Met Sally connection with this film?
Ew.
Is anyone from that in this? Maybe not. But Harry Connick Jr., yeah, it's kind of... Oh, he was in Memphis Belle as well, wasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Memphis Belle. That was like... I remember as a kid, that was filmed at Duxford, not far from Cambridge.
Right. I thought Memphis Belle was great. It had a really good cast. But yeah, Harry Connick Jr., he did the soundtrack for Harry Met Sally, and then he started acting, and... He's not in this long, is he?
No, he gets killed for being useless. He basically just banks his plane and he goes, oh, I can't breathe. Then he gets shot.
He gets killed for being Will Smith's best friend.
Yeah, he's a goose. He's a goose character, isn't he?
Yeah. And they managed to do that entire storyline in 3 minutes. It's great.
I know, exactly. Yeah, they condensed that, didn't they? So this is the top. It's Star Wars, Top Gun, War of the Worlds. Right,
Showgirls. Showgirls. Yeah. Yeah. And one of the strong women have been introduced into the movie.
Or a film striptease. I don't know what came before.
Vivica A. Fox, isn't it, from Kill Bill?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, I'd never heard. I didn't know who she was when Kill Bill rolled around. I thought, who is this awesome actress? And it's the stripper from Independence Day.
Now, this lady here, her friend, who she discourages from going to the top of the building with a crappy bit of cardboard,
was in. Yes.
Saved by the Bell, the college years.
It's the college years, yeah.
Yes, that's who that's the only thing I knew her from.
Yeah, well, that's what she was from. And then she was in the trailer, and I was like, it's her from Saved by the Bell, the college years. I loved Saved by the Bell, the college years. I thought it was great. I never liked Saved by the Bell that much, but college years was like, oh, hello, we're grown up now, have we?
It's impressive.
I loved it. With their fucking gym kind of teacher that used to come into their dorms, and you go, is that right? Are you allowed to? Okay, cool.
Is he a bit rapey? I don't know.
He's very, very friendly with a specific group of children, isn't he? But I loved that. Yeah, and that's so funny that I was when I saw her then, I was like, "What was she from?" And as you were saying it, I was like, "It was Saved by the Bell, the college years." Yeah, yeah, really good. I mean, do you know what I mean? It's like blow stuff up now.
That weirdly looks like a miniature. When he drove down the road there, it was empty. It was so strange.
Well, this is a miniature. The shot of the White House there apparently is a miniature.
Mental.
What do you mean?
It's the actual miniature that they blow up. The one they're pulling up outside.
What? And they've done forced perspective.
I don't know if it's comped or forced perspective, but I didn't even realise it was all model work, to be honest, until I started researching it. I thought there was a lot more CG in this.
I guess it's kind of like cheaper to just film a model than it is to shut down a whole area of Washington.
Well, that was their decision, because this is a $75 million movie, which is pretty high budget, but it's not. This isn't True Lies budget from like 2 years earlier, which had 100 million or more. T2 was again very expensive.
What was this?
But this is 75 million.
Oh wow, yeah, all right. Well, it's this absolute 90s sweet spot where they're mixing CGI with practical effects, and you can't really tell what's what, because our brains hadn't been trained to tell the difference.
Yeah. And ironically, I assumed it was all CG, because part of the conversation about this when it came out is, Jurassic Park has proved that we can finally do like big effects. That lots of people have been wanting to do a movie like this for years, but the effects weren't up to it. And then they did it, and then ironically they didn't use an awful lot of CGI.
Well, when you do see the CGI, because this was remastered into 4K, and it was sort of shot on film, obviously, and then the CG stuff, like especially when they do the big attack, the flame effects are really dodgy. Right, chunky frame rate going.
Oh, the bit with the dog jumping out of the explosion
in the tunnel. I'm looking forward to that.
And the explosions often look 2D; they don't look 3D. So it's the best thing is the miniatures and the dogfights.
Well, the way they did the buildings was they built these huge buildings and they laid them down flat, and when they exploded them, the buildings were like lying down, so the explosions come out.
Really clever.
Rather than, just having the building standing up. But the other thing is, once you've spent all of that money building a scale model of the White House, you're not going to spend extra money on filming outside the actual White House. I'd be surprised if they even went to Washington to film any of that stuff.
Yeah, I wonder.
That's why I thought when they drove down the street, it looked like a miniature.
They're in the White House, they're in the White House, which is a set.
Which must be a set that must always exist, because they just like...
Don't you think? But it's always really weird when they do sort of like a period film that's set in the White House and they say, we got the exact specifications and everything. You go, surely there's a White House set that everyone just hires.
I always think this about the Houses of Parliament, and I think there is now a Houses of Parliament set, with it's at least like one half of it. But like there's a bit in Blackadder when there's a scene in Parliament, and it's just someone standing against a wall. There's no one else in the shot at all. But these White House sets, I actually learnt were reused in Mars Attacks and Nixon as well.
Oh yeah, right, great.
That's all around the same time, isn't it? Yeah. Well, it's like Rob, we did the Omen 2. It was Omen 2. It was 3. It was 3, I think it was. Because it got delayed by 2 years, but they clearly used the White House from Superman 2.
You would think, though, wouldn't you? You'd think that all of the because you'd have walls that could like be broken off, you know, and then they'd have kind of like a storeroom with all of the different carpets from all the different periods and stuff.
Exactly, yes, and decorations and curtains and so on, so you can make it look tasteful, or you can make it look not.
Yeah,
How it does now.
See, as we're talking about Independence Day, let's just leave it there.
Yeah,
do you think though? Sorry, this is their part now to sort of, I suppose, a Close Encounters slight reference with the communication with the lights.
Yeah, totally.
But with this film, I remember like many movies of the 90s when they had the president. It was always this kind of the Hollywood version of what they think a president should be, right? It's always a guy. It's a military background, right?
Yeah, he's always a war hero.
He's just got into power because his popularity, but these polls are going down slightly, and people aren't.
Yep. And he's not from the political. He's not got a political background. He's been branded as like a clean broom type, sweep out the.
Yeah, and it's always slightly ambiguous if they're Republican or Democrat. But I think in the cases, I think it's probably more Democrat. I think at the time, just sort of reflection of what was the politics of the time.
It wasn't that far apart from The American President, was it? With Michael Douglas.
Oh, the actual movie, The American President, yeah.
And then there was that Sigourney Weaver film. What was it with
Dave?
Dave. Yeah, with Kevin Kline.
Yeah, there's quite a few of these things going around at the time, you know.
Yeah, but Primary Colours, was that around? That was a bit later, maybe.
Well, Primary Colours was sort of different because it was Bill Clinton.
Does Harrison Ford interact with the president in those kind of Patriot and Clear and Present Danger movies?
Yeah, it's the dad out of House Sitter.
That's a specific reference.
The guy that plays the president in Clear and Present Danger is the dad out.
See, his
of House
bloody
Sitter.
wife, Bill Pullman's told her, "Come on, you got to get moving." She's just like dragging her feet. Serves her right for not leaving on time. But it's coming up, boys. One of the most amazing miniature explosions.
And it is a great Roland Emmerich moment as well. Expecting us to feel this much emotion for a dog we've barely met.
But
I mean, if they killed the dog, though, it would be the biggest upsets in movie history, you know.
But this was a period in film, for any youngsters listening right now, this is a period in film where we didn't know how they did this stuff in films. And part of the marketing was, look at these special effects, and we've combined some miniatures with some CGI, but they were still magic tricks back then that we were like absolutely gobsmacked by. Yeah. And now, I know it's like, oh, it's all CGI, but it really, I think people are kind of like getting sick of CGI, and we're going back to kind of a mix of practical and using CGI as a tool again. But
well, that was the beauty of Lord of the Rings trilogy, wasn't it? They created bigatures, which was like done bigger miniatures to blow up. You know, you saw like the big, what was it, in the Two Towers where they blow up the wall. It's like ginormous miniature exploding. You know, it was just incredible.
Lord of the Rings all look like CGI anyway. Same with Phantom Menace, I suppose. They just treat all of the practical effects so that you don't realise that, oh, hang on a minute, that huge kind of amphitheatre that they build in the Phantom Menace, that's real. But the way they film it, it's just everything looks like CGI. Yeah. Jurassic Park, Titanic, they all used a combination of different disciplines so that when you watch them all together, that's a miniature, that's a bigature, that's CGI, that's an animatronic, and they use all these different elements, and then when you're watching them in the 90s,
it's seamless.
Your brain can't keep up with how they do it, so you don't know how they do any of it, because you're like, well, it all looks like a fluid shot. Whereas now you can kind of like go, well, that's all CGI, and your brain doesn't have to do any of the work anymore. So nothing really feels real, because you're not working anything out. Even if it is a very skilled job that takes hours and hours and hours, and it requires great artists, your brain, and I think most people just imagine it's a guy at a computer pressing a button, and that's not movie magic.
In the original shot they did for the White House exploding, it was just a White House, but to make it more spectacular, they put the helicopter in the foreground.
Yeah, I think the trailer doesn't have the helicopter.
Yeah. They had to CG add in the helicopter, I think. You can't say checkmate again, so you have to say something else.
They should have saved it.
Time's up.
Time's up, yeah.
What did he say?
Time's up.
Did he really say time's up? I was just guessing.
or bingo.
And then in the next season of Saved by the Bell, the college year, she wasn't in it because she died on the building. Yeah. So that's how they did those explosions. I mean, that's a bad comp.
But you start seeing some of the bad CG, like this stuff's all kind of fine, but it's like once they.
The scaling of the fire is off, isn't it? Once you start thinking about it,
it sort of shows you it's got. I don't think this is an ILM job on this. I think there's different effects companies on this.
It's weird because you could kind of tell it wasn't ILM, couldn't you? Like that, they filmed that from above, and then it all exploded out.
You see, I would never have. I would have sat there in the cinema assuming that was all CGI, entirely CG.
Really? I was always to me, it's like that's a miniature. I fucking love it. You know. But even though it's not supposed to look like a miniature.
Here you go. Yes, that's what got us in the cinema, isn't it?
Oh man, yeah, we saw that trailer. It's like fucking hell.
Has any single shot ever done more work to sell a movie, I wonder?
Yeah.
Maybe Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct.
Well, she turns into a beaver. That's Loaded Weapon 1. Oh, sorry.
I watched that again recently, Loaded Weapon 1.
I love it.
Oh, right, okay.
I love it. Most of the best gags in the first 20 minutes for me, but...
I saw it in the cinema twice.
Are you a fan, Nick?
Of Loaded Weapon 1?
Yeah.
I was disappointed. But I had just seen Lethal Weapon 3, and I went on and had like a Loaded Weapon night after that, and yeah.
I'm always a bit disappointed when I go back to it. There's plenty of stuff in it that's really funny, but it's not on that top tier for me.
What I noticed this time was, Loaded Weapon, because Hot Shots 2, Hot Shots Part 2, better than Hot Shots. I loved it. And then this comes out, and Loaded Weapon, they have a cameo from Charlie Sheen. They're using Charlie Sheen's brother as the lead. And you kind of go, right, okay, they're really glomming off of the success of the Zucker brothers. But when you watch it, what's really kind of interesting, or the big difference between National Lampoons and that, is that they've just cast comedy actors. You've got Proctor out of Police Academy in a scene as another police guy, and it's comedy actors that are doing comedy scenes, whereas the Zuckers used real actors.
Straight actors.
Comedy actors are real actors. They used straight actors that were famous for being serious to do comedy. And so when you watch Loaded Weapon, I think that subconsciously I knew it at the time, but when you work it out later, you kind of go, that's what the missing element is, I think, about Loaded Weapon.
Yeah.
All the CG stuff, it doesn't quite stand up, does it? It's random moments where people are flying in the air and other people aren't. It's kind of a mix. It's kind of gravity's choosing. It's making its mind up, isn't it? Really.
The way that the cars are flying through the air don't really make sense. But we knew so much less about gravity in the 90s. You see.
There is a thread in movies like this where you see a shot like that with CG cars being hurled like they weigh nothing down a tunnel or whatever, and then they'll cut to a physical car actually landing, and it's clearly just been dropped from a crane 2 feet up straight down, and it's really awkward.
That shot though, the Statue of Liberty in the water, and I think that is an incredible shot. Really amazing. If you go back and you looked at Universal Soldier, it's a well executed kind of B movie, action movie with Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren. But then as you see Stargate, you see this kind of progression of Roland Emmerich as a visualist, and he's like by Independence Day, he's really nailed it with these kind of really full scale epic shots.
I do remember loving Stargate, like visually. It felt really clearly remember thinking this is the only
really
movie that's made a foreign an alien planet feel as real and as textured and so on as they do in Star Wars.
They've done They've done, it's Lawrence of Arabia, isn't it? They've gone like, it's this huge, epic, sweeping, vistas of sandy kind of deserts with Lawrence of Arabian kind of music playing over it. And Stargate feels epic. And the bit when that kind of like horse thing kind of like is dragging him along the desert, it just, I think I fucking love Stargate, but it's a B movie. And I think Independence Day is a B movie, and there are some films that last a lifetime that are just classics. And I don't think Independence Day is a classic. I think Independence Day is like a roller coaster that you queue up for at the theme park, and then you ride it and you really enjoy it. But it's not kind of, it's not Jaws. Do you know what I mean?
I was just like, Jaws is like the go-to example, isn't it, of that, a B movie done on an A scale, but done really, really well.
And it's kind of, it works.
What makes Jaws work is the compelling characters and performances.
Yeah, it works as a legitimate drama with this element in it, whereas this only works on a level of spectacle. Do you know?
Yeah, totally.
And it keeps you kind of entertained enough when the spectacle's not happening, with kind of humour and the sort of Will Smith's charisma. But that can only stretch so far when he's not on screen. So it has to rely on everyone else who isn't really, keeping you that engaged. Jeff Goldblum's kind of off for a bit. He comes back on, on and off again. And then Brent Spiner's kind of the one that sort of gives you a bit of an energy boost when they go to Area 51.
I think that's what makes Will Smith the star of this, is that he's not on screen the whole time, and when he does pop up, you love him, and so it's kind of like you leave with this absolute love for Will Smith at the end of this film, because he's not kind of overused. He's in it almost enough, right?
And it's the Will Smith we saw from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air basically being thrown into Independence Day, where Bad Boys, he's a lot more smooth, you know what I mean?
Whether he's the leading man is debatable, but he is the star, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's perfect. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, and I think kind of like, if we're talking about like, B movies, and you look at Jaws and you kind of like go, that is a timeless classic that will never go away. It's an amazing film with an amazing cast, amazing acting. And then you look at this and it's kind of like, it's all cheesy. They're all talking in one-liners. There's no depth to it. They kill people off to make them look like they're feeling something, but there's no real depth to it. And I think like the middle step in between that is Jurassic Park, where it doesn't have the depth of Jaws, but there are still great actors doing great characters.
That's absolutely true. And the way they talk it's like you say, in this, everyone just speaks in one-liners or speeches. And in Jaws, it's more like naturalistic conversation. I just rewatched The Exorcist last night, first time in a long time.
Oh, nice.
And there's so much of that, and that's another one that could really be a B movie. But every character in it is completely believable. And there's none of these cheesy one-liners, obviously, it's not suitable. But all the dialogue is both natural and believable and serves to flesh out the characters all the time. It's so well written, that film.
I don't know. They have that one-liner where she says, your mother sucks cocks in hell, right?
There is that, yeah. There's a lot of a child screaming, fuck me, fuck me, fuck me as well. I suppose that's a one-liner.
Yeah, that always gets a big cheer in the cinema, doesn't it? But that difference as well is there in Alien and Aliens. When you watch Alien back to back with Aliens, the stylistic change in that is really jarring, and I can't watch them back to back. I think Alien is one of my all-time favourite films, and Aliens is, again, it's like a roller coaster, and it's one of the best roller coasters ever made. And I love Aliens, but I prefer like the naturalistic acting in Alien. And when you watch them back to back, and they're all like, waking up in the morning and talking in one-liners, it's kind of like, whoa, what happened to Harry Dean Stanton? Do you know what I mean?
But at least Aliens has Sigourney Weaver, that through line for that, because it is only really the troops who are talking like that. She's a fully rounded real person.
And that's not saying that Aliens is like Independence Day. Like, Aliens is the best possible version of doing it that way, I think.
Completely. But I know what you mean about it's difficult watching them back to back, because you can do it the other way round, not that you'd want to, But it's like having I don't know, it's like eating something sweet after something savoury. It's just, that's the right way round, not the other way.
And Alien 3 goes back to that naturalistic style of acting. So you've kind of got this huge...
It does. But thanks to a lot of the British cast who play it very naturally.
Yeah.
But I also think you're talking about the characters in this. I think that is a sort of limitation of Roland Emmerich's writing. Because he was still, by Moonfall, you're seeing the same type of characters you saw in Independence Day and Godzilla.
I don't know if it's that. I think Roland Emmerich is obviously talented, and it looks great. I mean, this film looks great, right? I never really liked the way they did the explosions, where the pilots were exploding, where you get a light on them, but there's not an explosion. Do you know what I mean? You see the plane explode, and then you see them kind of like light up in the cockpit, but then it doesn't feel like, it's not like Star Wars where they're like the sparks coming off. Do you know what I mean? So I like that, where it's just a bright light, but you've actually seen them explode already.
It's a bit like a bit like the cockpit scenes in Top Gun, really.
Sure.
It's, just a sort of just turning and stuff like that, it's reacting,
That's what it's doing, isn't it? It's going through every great American blockbuster / every great American movie, right? You've got Top Gun, you've got Star Wars, you've got Aliens, you've got, Steven Spielberg, you've got Jurassic Park, even the fact that they've hired Jeff Goldblum so close after Jurassic Park and they've given him a line out of Jurassic Park to say, it's kind of like, that's completely unnecessary and weird that they did that, because what they're trying to do, glom onto Jurassic... I don't understand that.
It's too soon for it to be like a tribute or a reference or something. It's weird.
That isn't kind of like Faster Must Go Faster isn't the "you're one ugly motherfucker" of the Jurassic Park franchise. Do you know what I mean? Where you need to bring it back in every kind of... It's not Jeff Goldblum's "I'll be back." Do you know what I mean?
You want Jeff Goldblum to, at the end, he sees the big spaceship all smashed up. He goes, "Well, that's been one big pile of shit." There it ends.
What you want is halfway through the film is for Jeff Goldblum to open up his medicine cabinet and for his cock to be in a jar on the shelf.
That's why his wife left him.
It's, yeah. From the Fly, guys. Obviously, this is another science fiction film from Jeff Goldblum, following on from Earth Girls Are Easy.
I do love it when they fly down low with a just destroyed city. It just looks like scenes from Mad Max 3 or Fist of the North Star or something.
But these scenes are incredible. Like this scene right now, with the special effects look great. They look great, So I think Roland Emmerich is obviously talented. What's happened is he's done Independence Day, which was about, like, we'll explain the pyramids, right?
Stargate, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Stargate. We'll explain the pyramids, right? And in this, they've gone kind of like, him and Dean Devlin have gone, well, what can we do next? Well, let's keep doing let's do another sci-fi, because that's our thing, right? And we'll do this thing about Independence Day where we'll explain all the aliens. Okay, great, we'll do that. And then it's made so much money that they've gone like, well, what are you going to do next? And it's just like, well, we'll do, what do they follow this up with? Was it Godzilla?
Yeah.
Well, we'll do like another disaster movie, but we'll do Godzilla, right? So we'll do that. And now they're being pigeonholed by Hollywood because they're the disaster guys, right? This is what they do. And it's not that he's a one-trick pony. It's that he's obviously wanted to make a film about Shakespeare at one point. Do you know what I mean? And he gets
pigeonholed.
He's pigeonholed. It's not that he's a one-trick pony. It's that he's been pigeonholed, and he's developed a formula for how can you make these things. And it worked up until a point where it didn't work. And then when you look back, you go, "Hang on a minute, that's the formula."
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Did you chaps like White House? Was it? Yeah, White House Down.
White House Down. I did, yeah.
Which one was that? Was that Channing Tatum?
Yeah, that's the one that didn't turn into a series.
There's a Gerard Butler one, and then there's a Channing Tatum. That's Olympus Has
Fallen, yeah, which is absolutely superb. I love that series, all of them.
Did White House Down and the other one sort of come around at the same time? Is that
Olympus Has Fallen, White House Down. It's one of those Dante's Peak and Volcano things, yeah.
So hang on a minute, just to ask again. So Gerard Butler and Jamie Foxx?
Jamie Foxx is in the Channing Tatum one. Jamie Foxx is the president in the Channing Tatum one, I think.
Samuel Jackson, isn't it? In the other one.
Morgan Freeman.
Morgan Freeman.
Well, although Morgan Freeman isn't the president in the first one. It's oh God, what's his name from The Dark Knight Rises or whatever it's called? The Dark Knight. I can't remember. Oh, Aaron Eckhart.
Oh yeah, right.
But Morgan Freeman becomes the president at some point.
So it's Gerard Butler and Aaron Eckhart, right? And Morgan Freeman is in those films, and then
yeah.
And so what? Roland Emmerich did White House Down, then did he?
Yeah, almost exactly the same plot.
Well, again, it's like, I mean, it's so weird that they came out at the same time, but it's like it's like another kind of like Roland Emmerich take on America, right? It's kind of like, this is the president. He's kind of this heroic guy with great morals.
Yeah, the president is exactly the same kind of president as this one. Yeah, except he's got the added character trait of liking shoes. That's his character. He's president who likes shoes.
But also, like, even it's sort of Roland Emmerich's Die Hard movie, isn't it? So he's done Die Hard, but even that's amped up because, like, the main character in my Die Hard movie is the president. You go, what, like Harrison Ford on the plane in Air Force One? No, don't think about that one. This is my one, you know.
That is a good line, though, from Will Smith. That's what I call a close encounter. You know, when he punches him. Welcome to Earth. It's so good.
I woke up today thinking, what is his line in this? And I thought, now that's what I call an Independence Day. But it isn't.
He said the name of the film in the film. Oh my God. I do love that in movies where they say the title of the film.
I love
Deathstalker 2, mate. Deathstalker 2 should have ended that.
Deathstalker 2 is the absolute best.
No one's allowed to do that since Deathstalker 2.
You and Deathstalker 2. And then it's got the best theme tune of all time. Yes. I love Deathstalker 2. It's so good.
Oh, Randy Quaid sober here. That's the first.
Is Randy Quaid still... I mean, I haven't heard from him in years, but last I heard he was...
Would you talk to him on the phone?
heard any of his insane
ramblings.
ramblings.
He never emails.
Never writes, never calls me.
He'd escaped to Canada for his own safety and was just like spitting lunacy back into America from there. But I haven't... is he still doing that? I don't know.
He hasn't acted... Well, a film called The Christmas Letter. I don't know what the hell that is.
No one's going to hire him anymore. He's got...
these are all films you've like...
He's got severe mental health problems. Someone needs to help him. It's just like, it's crazy, but like, oh God, you know, it's a shame that we have so much affection for Clark Griswold's brother-in-law. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
also mad. Like, well, it's easy to forget he's a legit actor. He's ended up being famous for Cousin Eddie.
He's very good in the Paper. You seen that? The Paper?
I haven't seen The Paper.
Randy Quaid is good, and he was in Long Riders as well, wasn't he? As part of the Quaid, because Long Riders was that Walter Hill film. Long Riders was the Walter Hill film where he hired brothers, didn't he? So you had all of the. You had the Carradines in it. You had the
Carradines are in it. Yeah, I can't remember now. I watched it last year.
I think Stacey Keach's, either Powers Booth or Stacey Keach's brother was in it.
But Rob, he's in your favourite sequel, though, isn't he?
Who, Randy Quaid?
Yeah.
What's that?
Caddyshack 2.
Oh, I think Deathstalker 2.
God. And he's in my favourite movie of all time, Pluto Nash.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Like, bad Randy Quaid is bad, but he's really good.
He's brilliant in Caddyshack 2. He's fucking hilarious in Caddyshack 2. He's a lawyer who just fights people who don't agree with him.
Dan Aykroyd is the worst thing in Caddyshack 2.
Yeah, sadly.
What's the other thing he's in? Isn't he in The Last Detail with
The Last Detail, yes. I think that's one of his first ever roles.
He's really amazing young in that. He's really young. Yeah. I love Randy Quaid. I'm really sad about what's happened to him, and I hope he finds a way. And I actually prefer Randy Quaid as a screen presence to Dennis Quaid.
Oh, God, yeah.
I think like what we were saying about Bill Pullman, and kind of who was the other guy that's exactly like Bill Pullman?
Well, he reminds me of Treat Williams.
Yeah, right. But like Dennis Quaid, it was Dennis Quaid, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah,
like,
it could be any of them.
Like Dennis Quaid is like a B. Harrison Ford, isn't
Yeah,
he?
he's Harrison Ford back up.
And when you look at all of these films, you know, you got the American president, Bill Pullman, Harrison Ford. Who else has played the president that's exactly the same? I mean, they're all
Kevin Kline.
Like, not Kevin Kline, but like a Kevin Costner. Do you know what I mean? All of these actors, I've got a theory that all of these actors are basically interchangeable. But if you want a slightly pervy actor, you go for Michael Douglas. But if you want like a more stoic one, you go for Harrison Ford, right? And Harrison Ford.
So Michael Douglas will get his bum out, won't he? So
Harrison Ford in Presumed Innocent is doing a Michael Douglas, right? And then you've got Kurt Russell, who can do like all of that stuff as well. Do you know what I mean? They're all kind of like, it depends what your budget is and who you want. Well, you've only got enough money for a Dennis Quaid today. Do you know what I mean?
Everyone's on the stripper wagon. Is this where they find? Yeah, they find the president's wife, don't they? First lady.
Yeah, underneath a bit of car door.
And then the dog just stands on her wound, just comes running over, like, "Oh, get off, you fucker!" You'd be like,
God, what are the chances of this then?
What, of them finding the first lady?
Yeah, of all the people to stumble onto in an apocalypse.
she would have used someone as a human shield, wouldn't she? At the time.
But like visually, these salt planes that are on these salt flats, this looks incredible. Like, you know, they're amazing shots. They're making a movie. Do you know what I mean? They're trying to make like a proper visual like feast. And
That's Utah, isn't it? So.
Yeah, it's the Bonneville salt flats, I believe.
Didn't he? I'm sure. Like, didn't they say Will Smith kind of ad-libbed that line about the smell because it was like it stank out there or something? It's through a wobbly.
It does, apparently, it's like they've done a lot of land speed records here, and apparently the smell can be unbearable.
Really? God.
Because it's a dried up lake bed or whatever. That all the little animals that have died over the thousands and millions of years and sunk to the bottom, and they're crustaceans and so on, are all part of that surface.
Well, it's probably like a rotten egg smell or something. I don't know.
Rotten fish, apparently.
Oh, there's quite a few videos of these Australian guys that's talking about this rotten fish. They're complaining about the pollution or something, and the guy holding it just like he can't talk. He has to give it back to go off and throw up. You see him retching in the background.
Oh, that's the challenge that they're doing now, isn't it? That they're opening tins of disgusting fish and then vomiting.
Oh, that's Scandinavian stuff, yeah.
Stuart's done that, Rob. You know.
Oh, has he?
He had to do it in his garden. It was like unbelievable.
Yeah, a friend of mine that was working in a radio station where they were going to do it, and the manager of the station said, "No, you're not opening that in here. It can't be done." They had to come up with a solution at the last minute.
Well, you see kids now on TikTok or whatever, or Instagram, doing it in their car with like all their mates, and like that car's going to stink forever. The bog of eternal stench, you know.
I'd definitely try it though if I had the chance. I'd give it a go.
God, no, I'd leave the room. I wouldn't. You can do it myself.
Most fermented things are kind of nice.
Oh.
This is one of their selling points, wasn't it? It's like you're going to see Area 51, and now we're here.
It's quite plush, isn't it? What I was hoping for is the guy with the cigarette from X-Files to be there. So it's like shared universe. You know what I mean?
William B. Davis, I think his name is.
He's kind of like an evil Robert Loggia, right? Robert Loggia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the hype around Area 51 was absolutely at its peak at this point because of the X-Files.
Who's this guy over Robert Loggia's shoulder?
Yeah, Adam Baldwin.
Adam Baldwin, yeah. He's from X-Files, isn't he?
Oh my God, he is, isn't he? Yeah, I completely forget the later series that I don't really watch. I totally forgot about that.
Adam Baldwin, I presume, plays a lot of similar characters, right? Military guy or...
I know him best from Full Metal Jacket. So he's the definitive Animal Mother, the definitive.
Yeah, right.
Military guy.
The guy on the right, who's like complete pain in the ass, is the guy from the Wonder Years, isn't it? The dad, you were saying.
Yeah, the dad from the Wonder Years.
Yeah, because he's written to be like complete snivelling weasel, isn't he?
No. That's not the dad from the Wonder Years.
No, not the tall guy.
Who's the grey guy who gets sacked for being the Ministry of Defence or the head of defence? Right? Who's the guy who's more than happy to nuke?
He always plays the same character. Like, he's always like this horrible kind of like guy. And I saw a film the other day where he was really young in it, and I can't remember what that was. And I've got my phone on airplane mode because I'm being professional. But he's in loads of stuff. He's always plays the same character. I think we were really...
Who's the dad in the Wonder Years then?
He's sort of like a really heavy set guy with dark eyebrows and brown hair. He looks like Fred Flintstone. He
was earlier on, wasn't he? He was in one of the military. Yeah, okay.
He looks.
Fine, sorry.
He looks like Fred Flintstone, right?
Yes. He's like John Goodman on a budget.
He's a lot like. He looks a lot like. Always reminds me of Tom Bosley, the dad from the Wonder Years. But Adam Baldwin,
maybe that's a dad complex.
Who was in Full Metal Jacket, the gunner on the helicopter in Full Metal Jacket. I only just realised, researching this, that role was initially offered to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
What?
Kubrick wanted Schwarzenegger for it, and apparently he thought it clashed with The Running Man. But apparently he was quite interested in the idea.
I bet Stanley Kubrick loved Arnold Schwarzenegger. You know?
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, he put David Prowse was in Clockwork Orange, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And David Prowse and Arnold Schwarzenegger must have done bodybuilding together at some point.
I wonder. But yeah, I mean, you can see what he's thinking. He just wants a big guy.
And fucking one of Stanley Kubrick's favourite films later on in life was True Lies. You know.
Oh, was it? I've never heard that.
There's a line in when James Cameron sent Stanley Kubrick True Lies, he just phoned him up and he talked to him for hours about how he did everything in it. He just wanted to know how they did everything in True Lies. He was so impressed with it. And to the point where in Eyes Wide Shut, they quote actual dialogue from True Lies in Eyes Wide Shut.
Really?
There's an exchange at the party at the beginning.
Didn't Spielberg have that thing with Kubrick would ring him up and go, how'd you do that? And he tells him, he goes, bye, okay, bye, and hangs up.
He loves telling that story.
Apparently he phoned him up, he was talking to James Cameron for hours, and there's a I think it's in the party at the beginning, someone talks about like a piece of art or something, and it's a quote from the beginning of True Lies.
Eyes Wide Shut is literally my favourite film of the last 30 years.
I mean, with all the Epstein stuff, when you watch Eyes Wide Shut now, it's completely recontextualised. I just find it absolutely fascinating. It's as fascinating to me, Eyes Wide Shut, as The Shining used to be. The Shining still is.
I've not seen it. I've not seen it since it came out. I didn't particularly love it when I saw it the first time.
I didn't, but when you look at it like the whole film is that they're getting ready to sell their child to the elites, it's like, oh my God, they're the bad guys, you know.
Mm. Or the other theory is that Nicole Kidman, is one of them. She's in with the sect.
Sure, but there's that bit at the end where he tells her about what he's done, right? And then it cuts to them in the morning and they're both absolutely devastated in tears, right? And it's like, that's not the conversation that they had. The conversation is that he's told her that he's gone on this secret kind of thing to join this cult. And she said, I would rather be in a cult. Because she has that conversation earlier. She says, I would abandon you and my daughter for this affair that I wanted. Yeah. And he's gone, what if we just abandon our daughter and rejoin this cult? And they're devastated in the morning because they know they're about to shop their child away. And the last shot of the film is her in the toy shop getting led away by these two men. And they're like just looking at each other, trying not to focus on the fact that the kid's being abducted. And then she says, we're going to fuck. Because that's all they're going to do now. They're going to go to this cult and they're going to relive their youth and not have a kid.
I've never heard this angle. I'm going to have to rewatch it with that in mind.
When you watch it, the whole thing is just sort of like, oh my God. It's like, I'm not saying it's about Epstein, but it is about kind of like child abduction. And it's like, wow, it's horrible. Anyway, Independence Day.
That's one of our regular tangents.
Kubrick and Murder, She Wrote happen quite a lot, I've noticed.
Also, it's a theory, isn't it? You know, you can take anything you want from it.
I mean, if we know anything, we know that Kubrick didn't have a specific thing in mind, frankly. It was left for us to come up with these ideas.
But I thought Area 51 isn't really near this area. It's kind of because people get kind of close to it, don't they? When they, you've seen videos, you've seen documentaries about Area 51.
You used to be able. Weirdly, you used to be able to get a lot closer to it than you can now. In the late 90s, after all this craze, the US claimed a load of land or bought up a load of land. So there's actually a shot of the real Area 51, which is just part of Edwards Air Force Base, I think, isn't it? Edwards Air Base. There's actually a real shot of it from a peak that I used to read about from time to time when I was really into UFOs in the 90s. I think it's called like America Peak or Freedom Peak or Freedom Ridge or something like that. And it was the one bit of land where you could get a really good view of Area 51. And they actually went and shot from it, which really pissed off the Air Force, and they then refused to help them with all the things they normally help with.
Oh. So that's what Michael Bay has. He's, or Jerry Bruckheimer, good working relationship with the military. That's why.
It's propaganda, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. If you're making propaganda, they'll help you all you want. If you're making, which is fair enough. Yes.
This film needs Charlton Heston. That's what it is.
But it's true. If you're making a film that requires the American military's cooperation, then
and they're
shown in a good light.
You've got to show them in a good light.
Of course, yeah.
You can't just you can't just tell the story that you want to tell, right? But if your story is pro-military anyway, fine, right? But you have to kind of like take that into account while you're making the picture. So it ends up being propaganda.
Of course, yeah. No, the only time it gets problematic, I think, is if you've got the agreement, the screenplay's all sorted, and then they start saying, "Well, we'd like you to change this bit and that bit and that bit and that bit," and because you're so committed to them by that point, the filmmaker has to change all that, and then it starts to touch on propaganda a little bit.
She's got to the base and it's all been destroyed. Which is actually a really good shot earlier on, because when the guy is like, "What's going on?" He turns around, he's got a cigar in his mouth, and it falls out, and you just see this great wide shot of all the alien spacecraft attacking. Iconic stuff.
These are all the Spielberg moments, aren't they? It's the bit when they see that first dinosaur in Jurassic Park where she's got her mouth open and she's grabbing onto his head and he's clawing the glasses off his face, and it's kind of, it's real Spielberg-y cheese of like, you see the reaction.
Yeah, it's all about the human reaction, isn't it, to whatever it is that's happened or that they're seeing. It's all about their face.
He's just really running with that in this.
Do you see the Godzilla toy there?
Oh, yeah, I just saw King Ghidorah.
King Ghidorah, yeah.
Yeah.
What's this?
Oh, foreshadowing.
That's weird, because we were talking about King Ghidorah in the last commentary we did, I think, weren't we? Or because I bought my son the toy that I found at a second-hand market, and then the dog chewed it, and then maybe I was talking to someone else about it, but I found this, and it ended up it was worth hundreds and hundreds of pounds.
Oh, but it was ruined.
Yeah, but the dog ate one of its heads.
But she finds out she's an exotic dancer. She's like, "Oh, one of those people."
This little boy, he was in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
He was, wasn't he? Yeah. You
got this guy out of Very Bad Things and Alien Resurrection.
And the Bone Collector.
Oh, yeah.
Is he the Bone Collector?
Yeah. Oh, spoilers, people. The little kid is Ross Bagley. He was in Little Rascals, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Babe, Wild Thornberrys, Judging Amy. But, it's kind of big gaps because he probably went to school and stuff.
Probably went to school, yeah.
Yeah, but he didn't do much in terms of work-wise.
Wasn't this guy in Men in Black as well? This doctor guy.
Oh!
He had crazy eyes. I remember him blinking with his inner eyelids or something, I'm sure.
It might be him, might be someone.
Or am I thinking of something else?
He does look familiar, yeah, for that. All these alien stuff is done by Patrick Totopoulos, who Zack Snyder would actually work with for, I think, the DC movies. But obviously Totopoulos would become the name of Matthew Broderick in Godzilla. A little reference there, the FX guy. He's a really good designer. I do like his work in this.
Yeah, I mean, these aliens don't look like aliens that you've seen before in other stuff, really.
Well, it's just kind of it's not the crazy, wacky stuff you see in Fifth Element the year later, but it's taking the alien design we're somewhat familiar with.
There's a lot of the alien queen in this, I think.
Yes, and they're sort of just kind of done their own twist on familiar imagery, right?
Well, yeah, but they've added loads of elements like tentacles and stuff like that. They've tried to make it like. They've obviously had a conversation and said he needs to look less like the alien queen,
They've got this kind of biomechanical suit, haven't they? So
did he do Fifth Element as well then, Totopoulos?
No, he didn't. No, sorry, no.
Because that's another movie that, like Stargate, really does the world building well. The alien creatures and the alien technology and so on in the Fifth Element it's got that Star Wars level of detail and thought throughness.
Fifth Element, it did so well, outside of America because it was so crazy European, design, so very French, and Americans were. I recall Americans being a bit confused by it, or didn't quite gel with its humour. It was
a Bruce Willis science fiction action movie, and then it was a comedy, and it's oh right. I was kind of jarred by the tone of it at first, but then
you got Lee Evans turning up. I was it's amazing.
I loved The Fifth Element, but then that's an example of a European director that's not trying to make an American film.
Yeah. It's a lot like what was that one with Cara Delevingne from a couple of years ago? That was it was huge, really expensive. I think it was the most expensive French film ever made, and it was a complete disaster.
And it had Green Goblin in it, didn't it?
I can't even remember now.
What's his name? Is it not?
Oh yes, yeah. Oh, what's his name? Yeah, that's the one. I'm going to look it up.
Yeah, he was in Enter the Never.
This scene here is the only sort of part we get a little bit of a backstory for the aliens. That's kind of it. But yeah. it's just sort of simple, just no peace, just death. We're gonna kill you.
And it's spooky, isn't it? It's kind of like a real sort of
Yeah, Robert Loggia doesn't do much in this film apart from stand still, just agree with the president and sort of we can't do this now, sort of attitude.
He doesn't do much as a character, but as an actor, he adds so much weight and heft to this movie. He gives it legitimacy just by being in it.
He's in the sequel because I think he died shortly after the sequel came out or during production, but he's in the chair, in a wheelchair, just does this, just waves. He should have said, "I'm Robert Loggia," but yeah, so good.
I think we were robbed of a sequel to the movie Trespass, where we could have had Bill Paxton, Bill Sadler, and Bill Pullman all in one movie.
See, look, okay, Brent Spiner is dead. He's checked his pulse. He's dead, but in the sequel, he's been in a coma for 20 years, and then once the aliens return, the big queen alien, he gets woken up again, and he's been having visions of this circle with a little line through it, and what they discover that is an alien AI essentially, or whatever. He's kind of is the last survivor, and it's got all this technology that's going to help people on Earth kind of battle this alien race that's kind of wiped out a bunch of planets, and Jeff Goldblum returns, Bill Pullman, who's gone a bit loopy because he's getting all these visions about this alien invasion and knowing they're going to come back. Because 20 years, for a sequel, and it's clear that Roland Emmerich didn't want to do it. But also trying to come up with an idea that would be justified in doing a sequel. But it kind of, it goes in a direction where it kind of makes sense because all these ships crash. They're going to use technology. There's still going to be aliens on those ships. that haven't been killed. So they basically, incarcerate all these aliens and have taken on the technology. They now built a base on Earth, on the moon to protect themselves from any invasion. And then the Queen, the big ship turns up. It just literally sits on top of the Earth. It just it's so big. It just goes, Rah! Just does so much damage and destroys London, which you don't see get destroyed in this film, do you? Which Mars Attacks would do that. They'd blow up Big Ben.
Wasn't there something in Mars Attacks where they were like, oh, Independence Day have done that, so now we've got to pick something else?
Yes. Probably, yes. But Jeff Goldblum has a line in the sequel saying, they like to destroy the monuments, you know what I mean? Sort of why are they hovering over Paris or, all these iconic, buildings. But the sequel is let down by terrible characters. All the new characters they introduced, like Liam Hemsworth and some other guy who's basically a comedy character like Will Smith's co-pilot who died earlier. You got a Chinese actress thrown in to appease the Chinese market. And you got what's his name? The guy who plays the guy who can run really fast in The Boys, something Usher.
Oh, A-Train. Yeah, I don't know the actor's name.
He's Will Smith's son. So this Will Smith's died because he didn't want to be in it. So he's in Suicide Squad, which was a massive.
As soon as Will Smith can't do the sequel to Independence Day, you cancel the sequel to Independence Day, or you hire Idris Elba.
But they had Brent Spinner.
yeah.
Which is what they did with Suicide Squad.
Well, who's the best thing about the sequel? Really good.
Idris Elba, when he's doing fun and silly, Suicide Squad, he was incredible.
Yeah, he's
Masters
good.
of the Universe, he was perfect, I just don't like any of his other stuff. But, yeah.
But Will Smith should have taken on the advice that Leonardo DiCaprio says to everyone: don't do superhero films. He tells everyone, don't do it. But he had to do it.
Why? Well, it's not what Robert Downey Jr. tells people, is it?
Yeah.
I also with Liam Hemsworth being in it. It wasn't that much before or after Pacific Rim, right?
Was he in Pacific Rim?
Wasn't he the main guy in Pacific Rim?
No, it's the guy with hands in pockets guy from Queer as Folk. And what else? He's in loads of Del Toro movies, isn't he?
Is he not in Pacific Rim? Is he not the main guy in Pacific Rim?
No, Liam Hemsworth is. No,
Pacific Rim.
Sorry, no, you're confusing me now. Fuck's sake. Pacific Rim is the guy who's in a few Guy Ritchie movies.
Oh, Charlie Hunnam.
Oh, yeah, Charlie Hunnam.
Hands in pockets, man. Because every performance he does, his hands are in his pockets.
Well, I mean, I've proven a point to myself in a way that they're interchangeable. But but I hated Pacific Rim.
Well, I thought it was brilliant, the first one.
Oh,
I hated
God.
the sequel.
The bit when they're running on the spot in these fucking on these cross trainers. It's so embarrassing.
But it's like proper cheesy. It's like Starship Troopers cheese.
Oh, no, it's fucking... I hate it.
The sequel I despised,
I mean, I never got there.
Please don't.
Wasn't Liam Hemsworth in the sequel?
No, I don't know. I don't think he is. Liam Hemsworth is in Expendables 2, wasn't he?
Yeah.
No, it was Chris Hemsworth.
No,
that was Liam Hemsworth, and they put Hemsworth on the poster, and to trick you, you go there's two Hemsworths.
Liam Hemsworth is known for the Hunger Games.
Liam Hemsworth is not known by his surname alone, right? You can't just put Hemsworth on the poster for Expendables 2 whilst Thor is in the cinema and think that you're not fucking trying to con us. I've got nothing against Liam Hemsworth.
Robert Loggia, he's thinking there.
Robert Loggia knows better.
Let me just wipe my eye down so I can see. Oh, it's still there.
I guess they've made some sort of decision, haven't they, where we're going to experience this from lots of hot claustrophobic rooms They're in a tank. They're in the war room.
Budget limitations, and they're quite sparse, like empty sets. Some of them are, so the cheapness is kind of there. It wouldn't surprise me if Fox kind of just use other existing kind of like locations like sets created from TV shows.
Absolutely, and they would have saved it for stuff like Area 51. The budget for stuff like that.
But also, you've probably got other players from Fox TV shows appearing in this as supporting players or background characters, which is kind of I think we may have discussed before, Nick, actually.
Was that girl out of Saved by the Bell, and Will Smith is from Fresh Brit? Do you know what I mean? It's like there is... Not only were we watching the same films, but we were watching the same TV shows, and it's kind of, there's this crossover between...
Do you think there's at that point there wasn't much of a stigma anymore about doing TV film?
I think there was, but I think that it was kind of like...
Fine for younger people.
If you did well on TV, then you would graduate to film. And I think now it's kind of like they're more separated.
Where's my stripper? There she is.
That's the First Lady.
Look at that shot.
But yeah, so they're in these little hot rooms, and then they're looking through windows, and they're looking at screens and monitors. So you're seeing kind of like this destruction of the Earth very much from the human's point of view. So that is a stylistic choice, isn't it? He's kind of like, we're on the ground looking up.
Yeah, but I mean, that's like the normal procedure would be to do that, I guess. But also, like, they kind of need to be in small rooms, because in real life, like, he would have been rushed straight to some kind of war room, some kind of underground bunker, which makes me wonder why all these buildings have got windows, because it's not a very safe environment if your planet's under attack, is it? Clearly, there's like a massive bunker underneath the White House and any other.
Well, there is government.
Now. To me, it always looked like they're in Area 51. They're in the hospital area, or whatever. But all the windows are all lit blue.
Yeah.
So I always think someone's gone, okay, right, we'll light this blue just in case we can comp in something later. They just don't bother to comp anything in. So it's just like loads of blue screen.
No,
it's feel we're watching a work print here.
That's the corridor, right? But that's not a window outside. That's a window into the corridor.
Yeah, no, this location now has changed. But a minute ago, where all the military figures were, and they were like planning their strategy, there's just like banks and banks of blue. Yeah, it looks like the mirror, the windows just feed out onto a blue light, basically.
But isn't that kind of like a bit like the truck where they store all the bodies in Universal Soldier? I remember that being like very blue with like green lighting and stuff. It's kind of like if he has a visual style, then it's like that. Because his films became very digital, didn't they? So it was like The Day After Tomorrow is very CGI. It doesn't really look like this film. It's a lot colder.
Well, interesting. It was the guy who photographed Roland's early movies, Moon 44, Stargate, and Independence Day, same DP. So the same use of colour.
What was that? What was that kids' film that they made? It had like a ghost in it, or like time travel, or something like that.
Oh yes, you're right. Yes, Hollywood Monster. That's
Was
what Roland
it?
made.
No, it wasn't that.
No, I'm thinking of something else.
Oh,
you're
thinking not made by Roland Emmerich.
Yeah, Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin, I think, and they did it before Universal Soldier. It was like a kids' film.
Well, there's a film called Ghost Chase.
Making Contact.
There's Ghost Chase and Hollywood Monster. There's different names.
No, Making Contact.
Making Contact.
A 9-year-old boy named Joey. Blah 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 blah. Yeah, he meets aliens. 1985. Only he can see it. Only he shares its magic. Only he knows the danger.
What? That's not on his wiki.
But I think
what the hell?
Like they're making movies, right? So Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich, they're like fishing, aren't they? They're like going, well, we've done this kids film, right? Okay, we've done this Jean-Claude Van Damme film, right? We've done Stargate. Oh, we want something with Stargate. And Dean Devlin is like coming in going, right, Roland, what have you got for me today? I think we should do another disaster movie. And Roland Emmerich's like going, well, we could do this, I suppose. And then they split off, and then Dean Devlin still does disaster movies, but Roland Emmerich has tried to kind of like branch out and do some other bits. And it's kind of like, that's their relationship, is that Dean Devlin is the guy that's kind of like, what are we doing now? We're doing disaster movies because they sell. So what have you got next for us, Roland? And Roland is coming up with these ideas, and they're businessmen, and they're trying to sell these things because it's their job. They make money off of them. So they go down this rabbit hole where they're the specialists on making disaster movies, all the way through the mid-90s to the early 2010s or mid-2010s.
It's interesting that Stargate's an MGM movie, Independence Day's Fox, and then Godzilla and the Patriots Sony. You'd think like...
Oh, he fell out with MGM big time, didn't he, though, Emmerich?
Oh, did he? I know it's still a Carolco production, but with, Roland's own company.
I can't remember what it was for now, but when they had the screenplay for this, they sent it to every studio in Hollywood apart from MGM.
Really? Fucking hell.
I think it must have been Stargate. I think it was something to do with Stargate.
You'd think, after making one of the second most successful film ever made, that they'd stick with Fox and do more movies, but obviously clearly went straight to Sony. We offered more money. Maybe it's licensing rights. Maybe Sony had the rights to Godzilla and Fox didn't. And
maybe.
That way.
But maybe they were going to make a Godzilla movie, and they were like,
well, they had been for years. Yeah.
And then they were like, let's get the guys that did Independence Day. So
I think you're right.
Yeah.
He's figured out now he's got to give the alien technology a virus.
Checkmate. Give it a virus. Check up, mate.
Oh, yeah. So they, Roland Emmerich did a lot of suing of MGM after Stargate, claiming that they diddled him on the financial side.
Well, this is MGM of the 90s, where there were a lot of financial trouble, weren't they?
Yeah, and also because of the TV series. So apparently he was excluded from the TV series.
Ooh, that's naughty, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I always find that weird that they're so disconnected from each other.
Roger Ebert said about Stargate, the movie Ed Wood, about the worst director of all time, was made to prepare us for Stargate.
Yeah. I've got a feeling that quote is in my Bad Movie Bible book somewhere. I've got a feeling that's a pull-out quote because it's a great line.
It remained on his list as one of his most hated movies.
There you go.
That's crazy, isn't it? I mean...
Stargate,
yes, Nick.
I know he is essentially an American saint, and this is Independence Day, but Roger Ebert had some really wacky ideas about some movies.
Well, Gene Siskel and Roger Ebert didn't like Independence Day. They liked the spectacle of it, but they felt the ending was a letdown and the characters were crap. So they both gave the thumbs down that summer.
Stargate.
Independence Day.
Oh, Independence Day. All right, fine. I think Independence Day is a bad film. But it's also a very enjoyable roller coaster. But it's not like,
Are you saying it's not a Jaws?
Well,
in terms of the writing and the characters.
Yeah, I mean,
it's all Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park again is Jurassic Park's a B movie wrapped around some lovely visual effects and special effects. But
like none of us are pretending this is some great masterpiece, but it is what it's meant to be. It does exactly what it claims it will, and it does it well. Yeah. And so, as a film critic, not me, Roger Ebert, I just can't fathom why you would not judge something on its own merits and on its own, rather than impose your own merits on it.
Usually, Roger's quite clever about that. He'd understand this may not appeal to him or be aimed at him, but he would understand for that certain demographic and age range, it will really work. And Gene had kind of recognised that. Often the case not, because he was very strict and stubborn and a bit. Yeah,
Siskel was twice as ridiculous.
Pompous twat sometimes, but he appreciated Mortal Kombat. It's like
Gene is really pompous and a bit of a dickhead, but he's usually right. And Roger Ebert is kind of like this sassy bitch who always puts Gene in his place, but he's generally wrong.
Yeah.
And it's this amazing dynamic between them where Gene just wants Roger Ebert to like him, and he's if Gene has to go first, he will kind of like have a hot take, and then Roger Ebert will absolutely cut him to pieces and be a real bitch to him, and you can see like Gene scrambling to get Roger's approval, but Roger is normally wrong, and Roger's opinions don't age that well.
Barry Norman didn't like this movie because a friend of mine kept telling me for years this was Barry Norman's favourite movie, and I thought that's interesting, but it couldn't. It's kind of weird trivia that you think that probably is correct, right? Because it's just kind of an oddball.
It's so weird.
It's so weird because you think, Barry must have been so impressed by it, but he loved all the visual stuff, but he felt the movie wasn't particularly great, and.
Yeah.
So it was like the thing is that weird. What we see now, we got the Rotten Tomatoes thing, right? Critics hate it. The audience love it, right? And then back then, this is kind of a similar situation where most of the critics, the popular ones who had, something to say and people took them seriously, didn't particularly like this movie. And it was the audience, though, absolutely lapped it up. And we've got the British here. Bloody hell, it's the British.
It's a real crowd pleaser. It's a crowd pleaser. And if Siskel and Ebert watched it at a press screening without like a general audience, then it's like when they screened the first 10 minutes or 20 minutes of Armageddon for press at Cannes, and they all pointed at the screen and laughed at it. And but then that was a huge hit because it was a crowd pleaser.
And it's like I know a guy vaguely who used to be a film critic in Chicago, and they often all go to the same screening. So you go like all these stuck-up film critics go and watch the same movie all together. They all hate it because it's not made for any of them, and they all go and stand in the lobby chatting about how much they hate it afterwards. And inevitably, their views are going to get. They're going to influence each other, and
that's. I watched Siskel and Ebert yesterday, and they were reviewing Candyman and Under Siege, and it was a 1 thumb up and 1 thumb down on Candyman, and it was he gave it a marginal thumbs up, but they both went nuts for Under Siege, and you kind of like go, I mean. That opinion has aged badly, right? I'm not saying Under Siege is shit. I'm just saying it's a 3 out of 5, whereas Candyman is a masterpiece.
Yeah. Under Siege 2, 2 thumbs up.
Your ass.
And I was still bored.
I think we've missed it years and years ago in this film, but didn't they get like the actual Sky newsreader to be like one of the Sky opinions?
They did, yeah.
And I remember that being a real kind of like, we didn't have Sky, but I recognised him from kind of like various clips and stuff.
Yeah, well, we had cable TV, so yeah, it was interesting. It's always kind of like, that's Sky News in this because it's a Fox production, so. It's also like when I saw like Shaun the Dead, you got the BBC news presenters doing stuff, and also guys from Sky as well, I think, doing a crossover. So yeah, it makes it kind of more realistic,
Or it just kind of like it's like a little Easter egg for you. I wonder if they changed it. They changed the newsreaders based on regions. Probably not, right? Unless
I know in this there are I saw a bit of trivia that there are like 60 or something different news people pictures shown in this movie, and they're all legitimate news people from all over the world. So I don't know if they're like giving a big cross section to everyone, or if this is kind of before you'd have been lifting things like that out and replacing them, though. I think, isn't it?
Because when they did, was it Shrek 2? One of the ugly sisters is Jonathan Ross, but they wouldn't have done that in America.
Yeah, those animated movies, like Cars, depending on which territory you're in, there's a racing driver from your country playing a part.
Also, wasn't Andy Peters in like Toy Story 2?
I hope not.
He did a voice. I don't think it made it, or maybe it's only in the UK cut. I don't remember. Jeez. That's a little bit of trivia there.
No one needs that.
But like,
why is there a dildo hanging off that? Sorry.
But the thing that you have to remind yourself when you're watching this film today is that the special effects in this film were the thing that got you through the door, and you'd never seen anything like it. And they have this story with these characters that string these special effects sequences together, and they are, you've got some good actors and you've got some funny moments, and it's enjoyable, it's entertaining to watch, but we're really there for all the special effects. And so years later, when we're so used to special effects, you look back on the film more critically and you go, oh, I've got to sit through this bit now and this bit,
And I mean, obviously, it's the age-old saying that just because you're there for the special effects or the action doesn't mean that they can't get the rest of the stuff right. And that is obviously not. That's really important to remember. But more importantly, this wasn't made for. We're all in our 40s. This wasn't made for old men in their 40s. This was made for kids. And one thing I see a lot of on YouTube nowadays is people reviewing movies, like Marvel movies. They're made for kids. You don't have kids. You don't have kids in your life. You haven't watched it with kids. And therefore you've judged it on completely the wrong criteria. The number of movies I've watched and just found utterly fucking dull or boring or whatever, and then watched with a child and they've loved it, and so that changes the whole dynamic, and you see what's important and you see things you didn't see otherwise. We've always got to remember these films aren't made for us.
But then that's the Star Wars argument, isn't it? Is that Star Wars is made for 10-year-old boys, but it is actually also made for everyone.
If you get it right, then it will appeal to everyone.
That's George Lucas's get out of jail card. It's not made for adults, it's made for kids.
But that's true of the original Star Wars,
Or Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, like some movies get it right. Some movies are clever enough to be primarily aimed at kids, but have content for adults and adopt a tone that adults can enjoy and appreciate as well. But like, not all kids' movies have to be like that, or should be like that.
Well, nowadays, if it was something that was classified a kids' film, it would be animation. In the case of this, I wouldn't say this is a kids' film. It's a film for a general audience.
It's a family film.
Well, I suppose, yeah, I see.
Yeah, because it's got even a kids' film, you've got a stripper. No, it's not.
Have you met me, kids?
It's aimed at getting as many kids into the cinema as possible during the summer, and everyone can go.
Well, it's a 12, isn't it? It's 12 over here, wasn't it?
So it's a bit edgy.
Yeah,
it's
that wouldn't have been a consideration for an American studio.
And there were toys, and there was a video game, which was crap.
I maintain the movies like. I mean, when this came out, I was a teenager. My parents, I can't even comprehend either of my parents watching this film then or now. They wouldn't know what on earth was going on.
I think my dad really enjoyed it. I think we came out really psyched up.
I saw this when I was. What was this? It's 90. I was born in 82, so yeah, I was coming up to 14. This is a summer movie, obviously. So I was like, yeah, it was perfect age for me. This film.
I mean, he's doing the big speech here, right?
The big speech, yes, because I said it was like super cheesy when I reviewed it, and people got a little bit annoyed with me about 8 years ago. But it did make Empire's list of the most cheesiest moments in movie history. And the BBC said it was, I think it was like pompous.
It is cheesy.
Well, pompous is a difficult word to apply because that's, it's a clear pejorative. It's of course it's cheesy, but that doesn't mean it's not brilliant. In fact, the cheesiness is an integral part of it.
Bit always made me laugh. The guy goes to a really aggressive salute, he's chopping it out. That always made me chuckle. But it is, Bill Pullman does it well. It's a good performance.
I think it's a great scene, genuinely great scene. And if I was American and this led me to feel emotional, I don't think there'd be anything wrong with that at all. I'm all for it.
No. But the perspective is, my perspective, a British perspective, of seeing that, it becomes cheese because the British...
Yeah, well, we don't do that kind of thing, no.
Maybe cheesy is the wrong word, and maybe the right word is corny. right? and it is, but Sylvester Stallone is corny when he writes those Rocky speeches, and they're incredible speeches. They're incredible, but they're still a bit cheesy and corny. You know, I think that speech he does in Rocky Balboa about, you know, keep moving forward. That is one of the best speeches in film history, and Sylvester Stallone has that ability to wear his heart on his sleeve and say almost the most cheesiest thing that you can say, but he gets away with it in a way that Roland Emmerich and Steven Spielberg don't get away with it, I think. When Steven Spielberg lays on the cheese, it's like, ugh. And when and when this gets cheesy, it's like, ugh. And like, weirdly, the person that absolutely nails that tone exactly right is Stallone. And that Independence Day speech isn't a Stallone speech, right? But
is there a problem with cheese though? There's no problem with cheese.
Exactly. Just because something's cheesy or corny doesn't mean that is an insult, right?
Exactly. That's exactly my point. Yeah. It's a complicated world, man, of how we enjoy things, the extent to which we enjoy them sincerely or ironically. It's really fucking complicated, and it's not as clear. It's not as simple as it looks.
It's like getting a greeting card from someone, and the message is cheesy, but it actually genuinely makes you feel good, right? And it's kind of like it's a shorthand of getting you to feel a certain way emotionally. And this film really does it, and I think it is a good speech, and I think Bill Pullman does a good job in delivering it. And it's perfect for this film and for what it's trying to do. It's this big jingoistic, flag-waving piece of entertainment that is American-based, but also anyone in the world can enjoy it. It's loads of fun, but it is cheesy, guys, so get over it.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I suppose it's like when something becomes too cheesy, it borders on to cringe, and that's where, when Spielberg lays on a bit too much of the cheese, it can make you go, "Oh, no," you know. But I did like a little bit when he turned on the computer. Then he goes, "Good morning, Dave." It should have been Smithers. You're quite good at turning me on. Should probably ignore that.
As you know, I'm kind of a frustrated American myself, so maybe I just feel an innate. I'm all with the people having a go at you, to be honest, Ollie. I think you're completely out of order there.
I'm muting that bit. I'll dub in my own little bit. Oliver, you're quite good at turning me on.
It's going to be me saying, Ollie, you are quite good. You are quite good at judging American movies.
Should certainly not ignore that.
And there's another thing that I swear is a bit of a rip-off going on, which we haven't even mentioned, that these alien spaceships do look a lot like the Cylon ships from Battlestar Galactica, the original 70s Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, do they now? I don't remember those.
I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to tie in the flying saucer mythology into this, and they're doing like a spin on it, and it's just like, great, okay.
I've just realised they also look a little bit like they might be inspired by the original War of the Worlds, the 1950s ones, because they kind of had that sort of like a flying saucer, but with a conical top, but then like a thing sticking up off the top, like an eye on a pole or something. I don't know.
Oh, look at that mid-90s clouds. That was bad. Steve.
But I mean, yeah, they've obviously watched War of the Worlds, right? This film is almost like Quentin Tarantino levels of theft, right?
Yeah.
Where, you know, when Quentin Tarantino does it, everyone goes, "That's really cool." But when George Lucas does it, they all like, you know, Star Wars is basically Kill Bill, where he's just nicked everything and put it all in one film and said it's mine.
Nice. Oh, can you imagine doing that in real life? Nothing would be more exciting to me than leaving Earth's atmosphere.
You'd be like, Ollie, I bought my vape.
Hotbox your spaceship.
We'll be able to see the aliens. It's all fogged up in there.
Or you'd see loads of aliens, but you wouldn't know which ones. Which ones are real. Like, all of this stuff looks fantastic.
It does, doesn't it? Really good. Look at the scale, man. This is all, it's all kind of like he learnt a lot of stuff on Stargate. To sort of then execute it with more finesse in this.
Oh, have we got Randy Quaid in the sky yet? I can't.
Oh,
can't
yeah, they will be
remember.
there. It will be there.
Have they given the drunk hillbilly a $20 million battle plane yet?
He pressed the wrong button, then he goes, oh, crap.
He was originally, apparently, he wasn't meant to be part of this squadron for that very reason. They thought it was unbelievable that he'd be able to just stumble drunk into an airbase and be given a plane. So he was originally meant to fly his own little crop duster with like a homemade bomb attached to it or something.
Yeah. Did they actually film that? Was it an alternative ending or something? Or was it just storyboarded?
I don't think they filmed it because it sounds like they realised early in the process that conceptually it'd be a bit of a struggle because it would have required him to have set off planning to kill himself, which they didn't. Well, that sounds like the kind of thing they'd flag early, but I don't know.
No, he's got the expertise to fly a plane. So he just ate loads of coffee, didn't he? He just drank loads of coffee. Really strong
If
coffee.
Will Smith can fly a spaceship on the grounds that he can also fly a fighter plane, then Randy Quaid can fly a fighter plane because he can fly a crop duster.
Randy Quaid destroying a spaceship with a crop duster is no more believable than him turning up and them giving him a plane. It's like it's all, it's the Jaws exploding thing, isn't it? If you're worried about Randy Quaid in a plane at this point, then what film are you watching?
Yeah.
It says several critics were disappointed by the visual effects in this. Newsweek claimed they were no better than those seen 19 years earlier in Star Wars.
Well, that's wrong, isn't it?
Well, it's clearly wrong. And look, resulted in cheesy shots lacking the quality of effects compared to James Cameron and Steven Spielberg. And look at that. That is Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, completely.
Inside Death Star.
Sure, but the same with like Fifth Element and Judge Dredd. It's like, it's Blade Runner, but it's Blade Runner with modern special effects, and you can kind of like go, oh great. Or the speeder bike chaser in Judge Dredd. It's like, it's like Return of the Jedi, but it looks really good.
Yeah. Roland Emmerich's just recycled it all and slapped a teal grade on it.
Well, they look like Star Destroyers.
They do, don't they?
And that looks like fucking the Rise of Skywalker when they're all like all the Star Destroyers are coming out. Oh man, even fucking hell, Rise of Skywalker stole off Independence Day.
I swear, I'm thinking of 2001: A Space Odyssey here as well, from the shots from inside the pod looking out through the windscreen.
Well, I've been thinking of 2001 the whole time, really.
I've been thinking of Mannequin 2 on the Move.
Well, who hasn't, Ollie? Who hasn't?
With Kirsty Swanson from The Chase, starring Charlie Sheen, also from Terminal Velocity. That's Fan Club.
I'm just still trying to get my head around the fact this was only 19 years after Star Wars. Is that right?
Yes.
And that would be A New Hope, wouldn't it? 19 years, only 19 years after
A New
Star
Hope,
Wars.
no,
Sorry,
Star Wars. You should be correcting me if I said that.
But you know what? I suppose this is a bit like Star Wars, isn't it? There's like a countdown. They're going to blow the planet up. They've all got to go and stop the Death Star. That's what they're all doing. You have a ragtag group of...
And at the end, when he goes to fire his rocket, it doesn't work, because he misses, the other guy goes, and then Randy Quaid comes in and uses the Force.
And it's a ragtag group of mercenaries that are trying to...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the underdogs versus the big imperialistic army with all the equipment and all the all of that.
It should just like, well, I don't know, for some reason in my mind, just be like, that's before, instead of like Alec Guinness talking to Obi-Wan Kenobi talking to Luke Skywalker, just have Charlton Heston come in and just exhale into Randy Quaid's ear. It just like destroys it.
I think they've missed a trick by not having that dog as the co-pilot here.
That'll be his R2-D2 in the back. He's like fixing stuff or something.
Mind you, Lucas also missed a trick. There's a distinct lack of strippers in A New Hope.
So he put them all in Return of the Jedi.
Yeah, that's true.
We should have put him in Phantom Menace, really, but you know.
I mean, this would have been one of them films when it came out at the time. It would have been like, this film has the most amount of special effects shots in any film, right?
It's like 3,000, I think they had in this.
Like, it would have been like one of them films where it's just like, we've broken the record of how many special effects shots there are in a movie, right? And so the real big, great shots are great, but they would have also had to be spread a bit thin, which is why you have like that dog jumping through the fire looks really shit.
Again, as Rob's come from the industry, it's just time, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then this had a release date, which was you could not break that release date for this film in particular. Mm. Because like recently, like The Odyssey and Spider-Man were both lined up to be released the same day. So how stupid is that? Now they've separated by like a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I read something somewhere that this is literally like the Guinness World Record holder for the most miniature shots in a movie, most shots of miniatures, and someone was hypothesizing that it was probably by quite a big margin, and of course that it will probably never be beaten.
No,
it's quite likely no one will ever make a film with this many miniatures again,
unless Christopher Nolan remakes it.
Yeah, I don't know how Lord of the Rings didn't come to feature in that. Actually, maybe there is just more CG than they want you to think.
I suppose there's probably more like, because it just in Lord of the Rings it's just structures, right? Like,
yeah, good point. Yes, it's going to be it's going to be.
It's not flying jets.
Yeah, science fiction settings are going to require more miniatures than. Yeah, in Lord of the Rings, it'd probably been like extras done up in proper clothes and stuff like that. It's probably the records it set. Oh, look at this.
Oh, yeah, it was slow-mo. Yay, some blue screen. Yeah, here we go.
This is really making me think of Battlestar Galactica.
This stuff, is a photography, actually. The colour palette is very Universal Soldier with the earthy, kind of like warm tones to everyone.
She is really Universal Soldier as well. The woman who is I was going to say the woman wearing the red check shirt, but I think all the women in this film have worn a red check shirt at some point. The one who's like the White House assistant or something. She's got really similar vibes to the woman from Universal Soldier. So they're dressed the same, they talk the same, they act the same.
Oh, the sort of the Lois Lane type character in.
I'm not sure what she is. Oh yeah, sorry, in Universal Soldier.
She smokes a lot, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she's kind of been dressed down since the first explosion, so she's just been like, you know, it's Casual Fridays, isn't it?
I wonder if they were. I don't want to say anything controversial here, but I wonder if this casting of the three leads was deliberate. In that, Bill Pullman is like Mr. Wasp, isn't he? The white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. He's the guy who'd have been on the football team in university, and all those cliches. You know, he is as white and as Anglo-Saxon as they come. Will Smith. And then Jeff Goldblum, who's been given this unbelievably Jewish father, presumably to emphasise his faith or his heritage. I wonder if has someone literally gone, we need one of each type of American, and there are three.
Yeah.
There's the white ones, the black ones, and the Jewish ones. I wonder if it was like a conscious thing to do that.
Yeah, because they're also going around the world showing monuments getting destroyed, and they're kind of...
It's kind of the same thing, isn't it?
It's a cookie cutter thing where it's just like...
It's big, heavy-handed shortcuts for everything.
But it's also appealing to the audience, right? They've got Will Smith, who's the huge TV star, one of the most charismatic guys around in the 90s. He's just starting this huge Hollywood career, but he's just at the beginning. This is only his second big film. And so they've got this guy that everyone likes, and they've got Bill Pullman, who is kind of like this safe pair of hands, all-rounder, charismatic guy, a bit vanilla. And then you've got Jeff Goldblum off the back of Jurassic Park, and it makes you think, oh, there's another Jeff Goldblum blockbuster movie, which is weird because I never...
Yeah, you never associate Goldblum with blockbusters, you know what I mean?
And I never associated this with Jurassic Park in my head. It was like a completely... Because Jeff Goldblum was playing a completely different character as well, right? He's playing a nerd, whereas he was playing a rock star in Jurassic Park. Do you know what I mean? So it's like... They've kind of... Yeah, it's cynical in a way, but that's how you make movies.
Do you see Randy Quaid then? He salutes, but who's he saluted? No one can see him. It's like, sorry, carry on.
Well, he's drunk, isn't he?
Visual stuff.
So, I mean, obviously, there's the representation thing, so like the identification thing. So for people to be like, for some reason, Hollywood seems to think that you need to be of the same ethnicity and gender and so on to be able to relate to someone. But it feels like it's more of a mathematical thing than that. Like it was a real deliberate kind of...
But that is how they make movies, isn't it? They think about like all the, you have like 4-quadrant. This is a 4-quadrant movie that appeals to every single demographic. And they've got a bit of everything in it. And it's kind of like, even to the, you've kind of like, oh, you got the first lady. So, that's, I don't know, high class, and then you've got, and she's a stripper, and you've kind of like gone, we've got everyone covered.
Apart from Asians, I think, actually, thinking about it.
But we got these guys that live in a trailer, and we got these guys that live in a suburban street, and it's affecting everyone, guys. And then, but it's not cynical. Maybe the whole point of it is that you've got this film where you've got white people, black people, Jewish people, Christian people. You've got all these different people, and they're all working together to save the world. They all come together. So it's cynical in one respect. Let's hire Will Smith, who's big, Jeff Goldblum, and it will remind people of Jurassic Park. And then I don't know what Bill Pullman's really bringing to it. It's cynical in that way, but in another way, it's the message of the film that it's the world's Independence Day.
This bit here, though, lads, is like incredible. The lineup, the music, the effects, and then suddenly the sound effect just takes it out, just goes all quiet for a second. Oh, lovely stuff.
It's great.
We did it. It's the tries to capture the sort of that
Death Star
Jedi moment when it explodes.
Yeah.
That's too many explosions, though, isn't it? Now? Unless that spaceship's like full of pipes made of petrol, like really, it should have just blown up a big part of it, and then obviously that will incapacitate the ship and it will crash. But every bit of it has to explode, apparently.
But having a dog that survives an explosion, that's a cliche. And the fighter jets just escaping this huge explosion, it's a cliche of seeing someone just narrowly escape.
It's all feel-good entertainment, isn't it?
It's like this film is a collection of cliches that is designed to make you feel absolutely great at the end of it. And it's deliberately like that. I mean, it takes a skilled filmmaker to make a film as successful as this out of those parts,
Has there been a film in recent years that really gives you that sense of like what Independence Day did back in the 90s?
Well, I feel like films now work against that, right? So the James Gunn Superman film isn't the Superman film that you think you're going to get, right? It's like it's Guardians of the Galaxy meets Superman. I'm not saying anything about whether I like it or not, but it's kind of like if you were going to make a Superman film from scratch, it wouldn't have been the James Gunn Superman film, right? So his film is based on the fact that you've seen all the other Superman films. So films are basically kind of like doing spins on old classics. Even all the new Star Wars films were kind of like, we're going to take the old stuff and we're going to do a new spin with it, So they don't kind of really, I suppose, like Endgame or something like that is...
I was just thinking that the first Avengers movie, if it has there's a bit of Independence Day in that, because it's got the same kind of huge aerial battle over a city, the finale, and don't they doesn't it end in basically the same way? Don't they like to blow up some sort of mothership, and then that knocks out all of the drones that are causing problems everywhere. Just like they do in Phantom Menace as well, actually, now I think about it.
It's a big beam of light in a city. It ends up being repeated again, like Amazing Spider-Man and so forth.
But it doesn't. But like, I really like that Avengers movie. I think that's a really, really good superhero movie. But it doesn't make me like punch the air and cheer like this does.
But I think Endgame did, it really did sort of made everyone cheer because because everyone's been on that.
I suppose
journey.
Endgame did. Yeah. Yeah, I was really wrapped up in that. I'm quite embarrassed when I look back and think about it.
I wept.
Was Infinity War the first one, and then it was Endgame second?
It's part 2, part 1, wasn't it, of the thing, Infinity War, wasn't it? Yeah.
That's the one I really like. The first part of the double thing at the end.
It's Infinity War when Thor turns up.
Yeah, that's the
That
moment.
is like,
yeah.
is like.
I completely bought into all that at the time.
Yeah, you're totally like a little kid again. You're like, yeah.
But the thing is, I'd just written that superhero movie book, so I'd only recently watched 1,000 superhero movies. So to go back and see things that are in focus and coherence and like it was amazing.
Enough with the fat lady. Those towels look like loads of turds,
This is the line, isn't it? Faster must go faster.
This is Empire Strikes Back. There's the asteroid field, but I would like to look at these next to each other, shot by shot.
Sure, but it's also Return of the Jedi, isn't it?
Yeah, but there was just a sequence of shots then.
But it's not as good as Jedi, though. It's not as good as Jedi, though, with their escape.
No, because Jedi is patchy, right? But the last 40 minutes to an hour, it's just Jedi's great. Yeah, all the Luke's throne room stuff and Lando in the Millennium Falcon. Not the stuff on Endor, really. It's a bit like.
Well, yeah, I think everyone kind of agrees with that. It's the boring bit.
Han Solo's trying to open a door for 20 minutes. Can't you give him something better?
Now, this explosion is better executed than it was in Stargate.
Yeah, right. It's the same bit, though, isn't it?
It's the same colour as well, the same sort of blue light.
It's the alien looking at the bomb
goes,
about to explode.
Yeah.
But that's the same with Jay Davidson seeing the bomb as well, isn't it? Or does Jay Davidson get beheaded by the ring coming down?
Oh, what was that, sorry? In which film?
Jay Davidson in Stargate. Doesn't the bad guy
with
get his head
the
cut
teleporter
off?
thing goes and it hits his head. Yeah.
Isn't there a bit where they see a bomb that gets kind of like put into
Yeah. Because he sends it back to the pyramid ship as it escapes. That's how it kills him.
Everyone's happy.
That was a matte painting, wasn't it? With static fire.
Oh, they're in Egypt here and they're all cheering.
Oh my God. And now for the rest of the world.
And now they're in Australia and it's daylight. It's daylight everywhere. There's a Mexican jumping up and down with a Mexican hat on. He's kept it all the way through all of that.
The guy behind Bill Pullman, it's like the guy who's in Terminator 2.
Yeah, with the cigar, yeah.
The guy, yeah. You have to say please.
Adam Baldwin's happy. And so's Robert Loggia, yeah.
Robert Loggia.
I love him.
He's a bit of a Gene Hackman at this point, isn't he?
Oh, he's yeah.
That would have been good to have had Hackman in this. Ooh.
Yeah, I'm all for Gene Hackman.
Hackman would have been a good president, right? That's Independence Day speech, and he would have been age appropriate as well, right?
Yeah.
Like Bill Pullman is way too young in this. He's way too young. It's ridiculous.
Well, which they mentioned in the film at the beginning, because the public are complaining, like his critics are saying he's too young.
Yeah, and the critics are saying he's too young. Gene Hackman would have been great in this. And then he was like, he's too old to do fighter piloting now. Oh, I'll give it one last shot. My knees don't fit into the plane.
He flies his plane with the seat too close to it, you know.
He's got one of them beaded seat.
Beaded seat, yes. Oh dear. And should have had John Cryer in it as well, but at the end he's just got the glasses on. It's all like like in Hot Shots. That'd be good.
Oh, I thought you meant because of Superman 4.
No, well,
John Cryer could have been Gene Hackman's press secretary.
Yeah.
What war was it? Was it the Gulf War he was a hero in then, I guess?
Yeah, Bill Pullman, yeah, would have been. Yeah. And then Randy Quaid was Vietnam, wasn't it?
Actually, that's a... Yeah, Randy Quaid's too young to have been in Vietnam as well, isn't he?
Probably.
I'm a bit hazy on when the Vietnam War was.
Well, it ended in 1973. When it started is a bit of a debate, but
yeah,
generally
on,
63.
The news report says 1971 for Randy.
So when was The Last Detail?
Well, he's supposed to be a dad, so he's supposed to be in his 50s, so it would make sense.
He was young in The Last Detail, wasn't he? It was like late 70s.
Yeah, but he was also in the military, so he could have...
Yeah.
I remember when before Independence Day Resurgence came out, David Arnold was active on Twitter, the composer, and I messaged him about 2 days before it came out, saying, "Oh, maybe a week or so." And I said, "Oh, are you?" Because I hadn't checked IMDb, or maybe it was later than that. Anyway, I said, "Did you do the score to number 2?" And he's like, "Sorry, Oliver, nope." But they just basically just recycled his theme for the end credits, and the rest of the film had a blur score.
What, for the second Independence Day? How does that work then with scores? Does he get paid again? Or...
Yeah, you get paid again. Yeah, license it. Yeah, you get a huge amount if you use the whole theme. Yeah,
so they can't just nick it.
Roland's like, "I wrote the film, I directed it, it's mine." It's like, no, you can't have that.
Randy Quaid was born in 1950, so he'd have been 22, 23 when the Vietnam War ended, and the youngest pilot in the US Army during the Vietnam War was 19.
Yeah,
There you go. He could have been a hero pilot in Vietnam.
They were babies.
Well, I was thinking but obviously the grunts were just pulled straight out of as soon as you're 17 or whatever. But for pilots, you've got to have like quite a bit of training, haven't you? So
But they trained them. They like in what's that surf film with Michael Vincent in it, where
Big Wednesday.
Yeah, and they all get signed up and they get put into, if you've got based on your intelligence, you get put into different kind of groups.
Yeah, and in fact, I read an amazing book called Chicken Hawk last year, written by a pilot it was a pilot in the Vietnam War, and yeah, it goes through all the training, and it's one of the best books about the Vietnam War.
Well, what do we think of Independence Day then, chaps?
Having watched it twice now in the space of a couple of days, I still kind of enjoy it. I think having a break from it for a number of years, because like you, Nick, I did watch it a lot in the 90s, and then I got the Laserdisc and I watched through it again, and then watched it on DVD. And it's just kind of those movies you just had to own, like on different formats. When you get the next one, I need to get Independence Day. It's one of those movies you kind of just had it, even though you didn't love it. It's just sort of a nice kind of throwaway kind of background kind of movie. You sort of pay attention for the first half, then you sort of tune out for a bit, then you sort of go back into it near the end because it's kind of a feel-good ending. And it's a product of the 90s, and we all love the 90s, with film. And it just felt like a movie. It felt like an event movie of the time, and it was so exciting going to the cinema to see this. And everything kind of lined up perfectly. You got a really interesting cast. It's got all the elements there, as you were saying, one of you earlier on, about sort of being a best of.
Yeah.
Taking everything from other movies and just putting it through like a grinder, and you get Independence Day, and it works. And it shows you that after 20 years, when they try to really capture it again, they just didn't know what to do, or didn't know how to recapture that. Yeah, I don't think it's lightning in a bottle, this movie. It's not like Ghostbusters
it's not.
where you couldn't do it again. It's impossible. Or like RoboCop. It's just a perfect piece of art.
It was very much of its time, which is different to lightning in a bottle, isn't it?
Yeah, and where those elements from that time can't really be replicated. And if it does, it comes across as a bit either too nostalgic or ham-fisted.
Yeah. It's a really weird film in a way to make a sequel to, aside from the fact that it was hugely successful and therefore obviously it makes some sense to make a sequel, because everything that was appealing about it no longer applies. You know, it was that shot of the White House blowing up is impossible to underestimate how important that was to the promotion and the success of this movie. And then there's the visual effects, because like I say, even though there are a lot of physical effects. At the time, it was like, oh, wow, this is the new big CGI movie, because CGI was a new thing then. So none of that applied. So none of the characters are the kind of characters who we all remember and quote all the time. So it's a really odd one to go back to in some ways.
Yeah, but also like for its context, you know, blockbusters were kind of, well, they were new in the 80s, and so you can kind of like just reel off a bunch of huge iconic blockbuster movies in the 80s, and when you got into the 90s, you know, you had the independent movies that were like exploding just about the same time. You know, Quentin Tarantino was with Pulp Fiction was 94, and then you'd have huge blockbuster dramas like Forrest Gump. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That also was using CGI, but like you'd have that's a drama. It was a blockbuster, and you'd have like stuff like The Lion King coming out around the same time. And the 90s were basically every week or every fortnight, there was another fucking brilliant film out. I used to just go to the cinema every weekend in the 90s. And Independence Day was another one of them films, you know. You'd go to the cinema and it was just like, hey, God, Independence Day's out. And so you go and see it. And if it was your thing, brilliant. And it was my thing. I enjoyed it. But then the next week something else came out and I probably preferred that, you know. That's not to say anything bad about Independence Day. I think when you watch it in isolation on its own, I don't really love it. I find it really baggy. And like even in that conversation that we just had, it's like we were talking about not other things unrelated entirely, but there was not a lot on screen that made us go kind of like, oh, this bit, yeah, great. There was like 5 moments, you know.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
I feel like I've seen it so many times that whenever I watch it, I'm doing a tick list until it finishes. I'm just like going, oh, it's this bit now and this bit now. All right, this bit.
Do you think for 1996, for a big blockbuster, it is way too long? It's maybe did this film start a trend where blockbuster had to be over 2 hours long?
It probably was part of that. Yeah, Terminator 2 was maybe part of that as well.
But Terminator 2 is just, do you know what I mean? Terminator 2 is like a work of art. Terminator 2 is its own thing. This is like, the problem with this, I think, is that it's self-important. And so it's like going, no, we're making this big kind of like epic, and it is cheesy, but also, you know, we're being kind of like, that speech that he does is straight. Do you know what I mean? It's like, we mean this. And you kind of go, this film has got Will Smith like chewing a cigar and punching aliens. Do you know what I mean? It's like, how weighty do you need this film, right?
I think a lot of what you're saying, it relates to the fact that it was made by a foreigner. It was made by a German. So like that speech, I mean, I can't imagine a German signing off on a speech like that without considering it kind of a bit deliberately over the top, a bit deliberately funny or silly or whatever. But at the same time, I can completely understand being an American watching that speech and not needing to find it ironically entertaining or silly or whatever, and actually just completely taking it at face value. Neither position is wrong.
I think with that sort of speech, like the Stallone thing, if you can cut right down into something that's universal that everyone can kind of like understand and relate to, then the cheesiness kind of like disappears a bit, right? And like I find that when I'm on stage, if I just say the thing rather than try and be clever about it, then you get the message across a lot easier. And that's a tightrope, you know. And I think with this, it sort of does. It's such a big speech that for some people it will be cheesy, and for some people it will hit just right. I don't know. I don't feel like I ever need to see this film ever again. But but I've got loads of nostalgia for it. I loved it at the time, and I do enjoy bits of it. I just don't think I need to sit down and watch the whole thing.
I'm really glad I watched it again, because it's, like I say, it's been a really long time, and I remembered it slightly differently. I remembered it being a lot slicker. It is a bit rough around the edges in a way that I don't remember. I remember it just being a really lush, expansive, huge, perfect, shiny thing. And it has got a little bit of that rough and ready 90s action movie about it, which is nice. Yeah,
and I tell you what, I because we've just been so like bombarded with like special effects in everything, even if it's just sort of like a backdrop, when you watch like, I don't know, Star Wars, and they have that fucking backdrop and everything, and it's like nothing feels real, nothing feels big. When you see Will Smith on those salt flats, it looks incredible.
Yeah,
because he's there, and the mix of CGI and practical effects, I love that. I love it. I love 90s movies so much. I love 80s movies. I love 70s movies. I love most movies. but the 90s is a particular period in my life where I've got so much nostalgia for, because that was the first time I started going to the cinema by myself.
Me too.
Yeah,
and also with this film, my dad took me, and I just I remember the experience. I remember it was great. I never managed to recapture that experience from the first time I saw it. But loads of people at my school loved it, and we watched it fucking 20 times. So, yeah. You can't deny it. If you like it, good.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, there you go, folks. Hope you enjoyed the commentary. Me and Nick and Rob will be back with some more commentaries very soon. For those American fans, enjoy your Independence Day, and us Brits will be shaking our fists from a distance.
We lost the colony! We lost the colony!
Take care, everyone, and goodbye.
Bye!